to talk about a lot of things going on with the New York Jets. Hold on 1 second, and we are going to get to the audio. I'm going to connect it. Hold on 1 second, folks.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay? I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we have a lot to discuss tonight. The New York Jets have been moving and grooving. A lot of changes have been made with the New York Jets since the season has ended, and there's a lot to talk about. Salutes to all the Savages out there. We got some discussion to be had. So let me go ahead and get into the show. Listen, folks, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. Listen, your boy is also on Twitter as well, all right? Come on over to Twitter. Type in at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe, okay, on Twitter. My personal page is at YoungJ000. All right, follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me, no issues. Let's go back and forth and have a lot of fun. I'm also on iTunes as well. Head on over to iTunes, okay? Type in The Long Beach Joe Show, The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes, okay? And we have a lot of fun, all right? Go ahead, subscribe to the podcast on there. Give me a 5-star rating. You know, let me know what you folks think about what I do here. I want to thank everyone that does give me that feedback, that lets me know, you know, how they feel about what I'm doing over here, and they're excited about my content. I want to thank everybody that does that. For those of you as well that do not know, your boy is on YouTube, okay? I'm on YouTube as well, all right, folks? Listen, come on over to YouTube, type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, all right? Come on over, subscribe, hit that notification bell so when I post content, y'all be in the know. We do these live shows here. For y'all that don't know, the radio show's hot, all right? And we get to everybody. Callers already calling in. Hold on 1 second. Believe me, we'll get to everybody. But if you want to be involved, okay, with everything that we got going on over here, because there's a lot going on over here, let me tell you something. We got the Savages in the chat. You want to know why I call them the Savages? Because they are savage, man. I'm talking straight savage. Savage! They get after it, man, and they don't play no games, okay? None. So if you want to get involved with what we're doing over here, you want to get involved with the Savages, you want to see your boy live, there's a lot of people that say, Joe, you look amazing. We didn't know you look so good. We like your takes. We like how you sound, but you're a good-looking guy. I say thank you. I'm not cocky. I'm not arrogant. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the compliment all day. So if you want to see all of that, you want to chat with the Savages, you want to go back and forth with people, hop on in on YouTube, all right? Long Beach Joe Jets, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's go back and forth, all right? So with all that said now, let me tell you something. The Jets have been handling business, all right? First off, we're going to start with the closeout interviews that we had for the season. And again, salutes to all the callers, salutes to all the Savages as well in the chat. Mr. Magic, Christopher Phillips, everybody else is down there as well. And we're going to get to everybody in a second. Just hold on, callers. The New York Jets had their closeout, meetings with the press. As we all know, our season's over. We had a chance to make the playoffs, but that just didn't come to fruition. And as the closeout was going on and guys were talking, again, when the New York Jets were, cleaning out their lockers, every single player had a shirt in their locker that said finish. And that was a message from the staff. the coaching staff in particular, to finish, right? That's the big lesson that we learned this year from the season. Finish. Because if we would have finished a bit stronger, right, we could have possibly have gone to the dance. Finish games, finish the season, finish strong. The Jets finished a 6-game losing streak because we didn't finish as strong as we hoped we would have. Now, the media did talk to Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams says he wants a new contract. Q says he wants a new contract and he wants one before April, okay? He wants it before the voluntary offseason program, or he'll skip the voluntary offseason program. When the media asked him if he wanted to be the highest paid defensive tackle or the highest paid defensive lineman in the league, he just said, hey, he wants to be fairly compensated, which was a very smart answer. He also brought up very smartly about how the New York Jets struggle to give their first-round picks, right? The guys they select in that first round, how they often struggle to get them to a second contract. They usually don't sign those guys. I think it's been like the last 7 years or something that we haven't given our first-round pick a second contract. And, you know, the names are there, all right? More recently, Jamal Adams, which we ended up trading away. Sam Darnold, which we ended up trading away. We can keep going through the first-round picks that the Jets don't see a second contract with the New York Jets. And he also said that he wants to be here. He wants to continue to be a part of the culture change. So that was huge because everybody's like, okay. And again, we've seen the impact that Quinnen Williams has had on the season, right? We've seen that. And Joe Douglas came out and spoke about it as well when asked by the media. He said, you know, that he's going to sit down with the team, the staff that puts together the contracts there, the financial aspects, and he's going to do what's best in the interest of the team. Now, there was a lot of Jets fans that looked at that situation and said, whoa, wait a minute. I don't like that answer. Let me tell you why I do like the answer. Let's be serious here. We all know that Joe Douglas wants to keep Quinnen Williams. All right? You look at the production and the impact that he's had on this football field. It's off the charts. He led the team with 12 sacks. He's our sack leader for the year. He's also second in the league in sacks among interior defensive linemen for a lot of time throughout the year. He was actually first, right? And if you want to look at what the Jets defensive line looks like without Quinnen Williams, go back and watch that Lions game. You remember that game, guys? The one that we couldn't get any pressure on, Goff? Anybody remember that? I do. And you saw that not only could we not get any pressure on him, there was no one wreaking havoc up the middle the way that Quinnen Williams would normally do. They ran on us quite a bit too, you know? So the impact is there. We see it. And I think that Joe Douglas sees it as well, but he's not going to tip his hand. He's not going to say, hey, I'm going to give this guy the world. I think he's going to do what it takes to keep Quinnen Williams and get a fair deal. Now, keep in mind, there's some contracts that's out there. You look at Aaron Donald, he's making $31 million a season. I don't think Quinnen Williams is going to get that. That's kind of an anomaly of a contract for, you know, top interior guys. But you look at, you know, Leonard Williams, he's getting $21 million a season. Buckner as well is getting $21 million a season. I do think that Quinnen Williams is going to get somewhere in that $23 to $25 million range per year. And he's deserving of it. The guy has been phenomenal. He's been the outright player. You could argue that he's the best defensive player for the New York Jets, and he showed up week in and week out. And let me tell you something else. You do that, that shows the locker room that if you're a guy that comes in and works hard, keep your nose clean, you don't get in any issues, then guess what? You'll be kept here with the New York Jets. Guys in the locker room will see that and go, okay, we're absolutely buying in. All right? That also reverberates to outside the locker room too, because guys outside will see, okay, you know what? Look, the Jets, they reward their guys. They keep their guys. If you come in and you play like a Jet, like everybody says, then guess what? You'll stay a Jet. And so that will continue to show people that there's a real culture change here as well. You look at the New York Jets situation at QB. Mike White came out and talked to the media as well, said that he loves being a New York Jet, and he wants to remain here, but he knows things change in the NFL very fast. You know, it's a fluid situation. But he says, hey, if he's forced to go elsewhere, because he is an unrestricted free agent, if he's forced to go elsewhere and he has to move on, then he thinks he can be successful elsewhere. Now, again, I personally believe it would be in the New York Jets' best interest to keep Mike White. When you look at him, he's looked the best out of any quarterback that we've had within this system, well, within the system we recently had, the Shanahan system, than anybody. right? He looked better than Zach Wilson. He looked better than Flacco. He's been the guy that has really shown flashes. And I don't understand why there's a lot of people that want to move on from him, kind of feel like it's because his name isn't flashy. And we'll get into the Jets' options at quarterback in just a second. But he's been absolutely, a guy that's coming here, put in work. The team loves him. And you can see the difference in the offense when he's on the field. He puts things together. He had 1,192 yards this season, 3 TDs. And if he hadn't jacked up his ribs against Buffalo, you can argue that this team probably would have been in the dance with him at the helm for all of the games, So you also spoke with Zach Wilson as well. He spoke to the media. He came out and said if the Jets sign a veteran quarterback and that looks to start over him, and this is a direct quote, he's going to make that dude's life a living hell every day in practice. Whoa. I mean, whoa. That's a good sign, okay? We all know that Zach Wilson's been very up and down, but guess what? That shows that he's as committed to being a New York Jets quarterback as the Jets are committed to him, to wanting him to be their quarterback, right? Of course, this coaching staff has come out and talked about how they're going to coach him through hell or high water. Sulla came out and said that himself. They're going to do whatever it takes to make this kid better. That was their saying. And again, there's other options as well. We'll get into Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mike White again, bringing him back as an option there at quarterback. But we'll see what the Jets, do going forward. And again, Sulla also came out as well during that day and talked about looking for a senior offensive assistant for a quarterback. He didn't replace Greg Knapp, and that kind of bit them in the butt, going down the stretch. So as the time continued on, then we get to Mike Lafleur being let go by the New York Jets. He actually parted ways with them and has moved on. That was a shocker to people, okay? Because guess what? Mike Lafleur is a very interesting situation because the Jets were planning on bringing him back in 2023. But with his status up in question, right? There were other teams that constantly were calling for him, constantly calling about him, interested in what was going on with him. And the Jets just opened the door and allowed him to pursue other opportunities that he wanted to pursue. And he ended up walking away from the New York Jets. Wow. And the reason why this was a little bit shocking to me was because Sulla came out and publicly defended Mike Lafleur this season. He talked about how, yes, the season one is great, but guess what? If he had got scapegoated, right? If somebody had looked at him and said, hey, look, after his first year in San Francisco, where they didn't have that great of a year, if Shanahan had looked at him and said, hey, listen, I want to move on from you. You're going to be the guy I'm going to scapegoat. You're going to be the guy that's going to be out of here. Pack your bags and go. Then, where would he be? He said, hey, listen, Kyle Shanahan sat down with me. We reviewed some things. We went over some stuff. And the rest is history. Now I'm here, But still and yet, Mike Lafleur is gone. He's moved on. He's going to pursue other opportunities. So the offensive coordinator position, wide open here. Keep in mind, the Jets offense this year, not that great. 31st in points per game this year, 27th in yards per game. We didn't score a touchdown in the final 3 games that we played. I know I'm laughing, but that's really not good, okay? I'm just laughing to keep from crying, guys. Oh. Just laughing to keep from crying. The Jets went 31 possessions without an offensive touchdown. All right. Now, keep in mind, the Jets weren't playing like, the steel curtain every game, right? We weren't playing the purple people eaters. We weren't playing the Ravens defense with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and McAllister and Jamie Sharper and Tony Saragusa and all these guys. No, we weren't playing those teams every single week. All right. The last 3 games that we played, or the games we played down the stretch, were full of bad defenses. The Lions, they didn't have a good defense. We didn't get it done against them. The Jags didn't have a good defense. We didn't get it done against them. Seahawks didn't have the best defense. We didn't get it done against them either. So you look at the situation now here at the offensive coordinator position, and you have some questions. The offensive coordinator that we bring in clearly has to be, committed and ready to go to try to help fix Zach Wilson. You also got to wonder, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. The offense didn't perform well this season. Now we're going into a season where the fan base and everybody else expects playoffs. you're going to have to come in, implement a system, and it's got to get clicking very fast, because if you guys don't get it together and we miss the playoffs, who knows what the future is. And there's names out there. There's a lot of names. Kubiak was out there. People talking about Frank Wright, Jay Gruden, Greg Olson. There's a lot of talk, but we'll see what happens going forward. But this Jets offensive coordinator position, it can be a tough sell if you look at it a certain way. Then the Jets continued on. They ended up moving on from other coaches as well. John Benton, the Jets offensive line coach, they moved on from him. Miles Austin as well has been moved on from. He was going to serve a suspension for gambling too. And according to Aaron Wilson, a guy who was the initial guy that reported that we were moving on from Mike Lafleur, Rob Calabrese is gone as well. And the New York Jets have also moved on from Greg Scruggs, but Greg Scruggs actually took a job in Wisconsin. So he's going to be coaching a college in Wisconsin. So it's a tough situation. Again, there's a lot of movement, a lot of shaking, especially along the offensive side. So the next offensive coordinator that we bring in here, he's going to have, his chance to really bring in some guys to help him implement his scheme. Sulla also talked to the media as well. And there was a lot of rumors swirling that Woody Johnson was possibly the guy that was involved in making the decision to get rid of LaFleur. Michael Lombardi came out and talked about that, how Woody Johnson wanted to get rid of the entire staff. But Sulla off the bat said that Woody Johnson gave him full autonomy to make changes. He says it. Do we believe it? We all know that Woody Johnson, has stuck his nose in front office business before, in football operations before. And it didn't work out the best, but he did it. He also said when asked about the offensive coordinator spot and why it would be attractive for a new offensive coordinator with all these question marks surrounding the offense and possible job security and Zach Wilson and all these things, he said that he thinks the Jets offensive coordinator spot is attractive because of a top defense and young talent, which is true. We have that. Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, ATV, right? And our defense is solid. Then, as he continued to talk about the offensive coordinator spot, he said that the Jets aren't looking for a particular scheme, which was very interesting as well. Because when you come in and you implement a new scheme, generally it takes time for guys to get used to that scheme. If anybody remembers, when LaFleur first got here, guess what? We were kind of struggling with guys knowing what the routes were actually supposed to be. We had guys running the same routes. Some guys didn't know where they were supposed to be within the offense. We had false starts because guys didn't understand the snap count. There was a lot of issues with, with conversation out there. There was a lot of issues, confusion out there as well with signals. There was a lot of issues out there offensively as they tried to adjust and figure things out. So the communication was off within the offense as well. So you got to wonder, if the Jets are changing the scheme, what does that mean for the offense? And he also said a new offense would be a big challenge for Zach Wilson to learn as well. And when asked about Zach Wilson in the quarterback position, what the Jets are going to do, Sulla came out of his own mouth and said the Jets will attack the quarterback position in the offseason, which is big. They also spoke with Woody Johnson as well. We'll get to callers in just a second. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is his number. Call in. The lines are hot. We're getting to everybody. It's going to be the last thing I'm going to talk about. I can go on forever, but it's the last thing I'm going to talk about here. Woody Johnson was also spoken to the media as well. He did a little Q&A, and immediately he said there's no playoff mandate for Sulla and Douglas in 2023. Do I believe that? No. No, not really. Okay? Now, if you want to believe it, hey, it's cool, right? But everything that we've heard from the fan base and everybody else expects playoffs. And I kind of doubt that there's, not a playoff, not playoff aspirations or a playoff mandate from Woody Johnson. I don't necessarily believe that, but he did say that. He also said as well that he's willing to spend big on the quarterback position. He called it the missing piece. When asked by a reporter, okay, hey, you're willing to spend big, right? He said, absolutely. The reporter said, no matter the cost. And he said, whoa. We've got a cap. We have a salary cap. that we have to deal with here. But, I'm willing to handle business. Yeah, I'm willing to do what it takes. It's the missing piece. It's extremely interesting. You got Woody Johnson coming out saying, hey, I'm willing to spend big. I'm all in. It's the missing piece. He's identified it. It's what we need to take the next step. We need to shore up this quarterback position. And there's guys out there, okay? And the names are going to be, we all know, Lamar Jackson, possible trade. You're going to have to give up capital, and you're going to have to, sign him to an extension. He's probably looking for $50+ million a year, right? Then you got Aaron Rodgers out there. There's a lot of talk about what he could do. There's some people saying he might retire. Some people saying that, that he might move on from the Green Bay Packers. Guess what? You get him. That's $50 million a year. There's Carr out there as well. The Raiders could possibly be looking to trade him. He's been benched, and this was after he moved away from the team. I think week 17. He could be a guy out there. You have to give capital. I think he's on a 3-year extension, or he recently signed a 3-year extension. So he's getting paid a bit of money as well. I think they have to trade him before the Super Bowl because he makes about $40 million in guarantees. So there's a lot of things in play. Jimmy Garoppolo's out there too. There's a lot of guys in play, and you're going to have to spend if you're going, to go in this quarterback market. You have to spend if you go in a quarterback market, period. We've seen that in the past. Even below average guys, if guys think that they can just hold the fort, they'll bring you in, and they're going to get some cash. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the New York Jets situation here is at quarterback. Man, oh man. Offensive coordinator is gone, which is going to be interesting as well, too, to see who they actually put in the position to fill that hole. Because that sets the table for everything. You got to think. If you bring in a guy who, is an offensive coordinator, you feel like is the guy, but the quarterback that you're looking for, especially let's say you're looking for a guy like Carr. Carr has a no-trade clause in his contract. If he doesn't like how your things are set up, he could say, no, I'm not going to go there. And they can't trade him. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the New York Jets handle the quarterback position. We're going to get to the lines. Listen, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Please be patient. We will get to everybody. All right? Understanding when you call in, I need your background to be clear. Make sure you call me on a good phone as well. Don't call me from a Sesame Street phone that you found on the bottom of a dumpster. Don't do that, okay? Also, when you call in, please make sure that your background noise is clear. If you're listening to me, mute me. Some people listen to me on TV. Salutes, thank you. Salutes to all the savages as well. All right? And also, please, when you call in, do not curse. For all my new callers, do not curse on my show. I do not allow cursing because I get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than we got Mike Lafleur out of here. Get out of here, man. Was that too soon? Was it too soon? Savages? Was that too soon? We're going to get to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. First caller I'm going to. I think some people are telling me that it was too soon. First caller I'm going to is my guy, Chris. Chris, I'm coming directly to you. Other callers, please be patient. We'll get to everybody. Chris, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in. Chris.
All right, good, Joe, man. You having a good time, huh?
I'm having an amazing time. You know who's not having a good time right now? Lafleur. We've moved on from him. He's no longer here with the New York Jets. Give me your thoughts on him being out as an offensive coordinator. How are you feeling about that move?
Well, I was feeling that that he was like a young offensive coordinator, and he was learning. But like I said, we had the worst. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, our offense was really bad. We could barely move the ball. Under a lot of things, and other teams have had injuries and stuff, and still been able to score touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was just. I think it's just a thing of inexperience. I think he'll be a good offensive coordinator later on in his career, but I think we need somebody, a veteran, to come in here and actually get this team on board to score points. I think we got talent.
Okay, and I respect that take. Now, I want to play a little game with you here, Chris, because I know you know the Jets. I know you got some good takes. You look at the situation here with the Jets. There's some things that really could hinder you from getting one of the top offensive guys. Some guys want Cliff Kingsbury. Some guys are screaming about Frank Reich. Some guys are screaming about, just all kind of guys out there, Jay Gruden and all these guys, right? But you got Zach Wilson here. He's hamstringing you, right? What if an offensive coordinator does not want to deal with fixing him? Because you pretty much have to do that from top to bottom. You got to fix his mechanics. You got to fix his throwing motion. He had a tough time getting the ball out of his hands quickly this year.
Right.
And now he's got to learn a new scheme. So you've got to fix him. And then you also got to be concerned about job security. We know that Woody Johnson has come out and said there's no playoff mandate, but we've known in the past that Woody Johnson has said things and hasn't stood true to those, right?
Yeah.
And made moves. We all know that at various things he's done on his football team. So I want to do this. I want to play this game. I want you to be Joe Douglas. I'm the hot offensive coordinator, the guy that you feel like can take you to the next step offensively. I want you to convince me of why I should sign with y'all. Why should I come to the New York Jets? What do you have that makes the job attractive? Tell me, Chris.
Well, you got a great wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. I think he's going to be is only going to get better. I think you got Elijah Moore, who's going to be a great slot receiver. I think you got a great running back in Breece Hall. You got guys, offensive playmakers. As far as the offensive line, you got Elijah Veritaka, who's going to be who is a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. And, you just got to put some pieces around the offensive line, fix up the offensive line, and you got a pretty good team. Zach Wilson is a raw reclamation project. But, a lot of people thought Jalen Hurts couldn't be fixed. And, a lot of people thought Jalen Hurts was out of the thing. A lot of people said that, the Philadelphia, everybody said, hey, Philly's going to draft a quarterback with those 2 picks that they had. But Jalen Hurts actually turned out to be pretty good. So to give up on a quarterback that's premature, and you think about it, you're going to say, hey, you know what, maybe this guy, there's something wrong. The offensive line broke down. We lost a lot of offensive players this year, especially around the offensive line. So if we can get the offensive line straight and get some protection, and then one of the other things that was very disappointing about the Lafleur offense is that, he didn't use these tight ends.
Okay.
Where was on a 4th round pick? Where was
Jeremy
where
Rucker.
was one of our guys that?
Where's Jeremy Rucker? Where was C.J. Uzama? Where's Tyler Conklin?
Where was Jeremy Rucker?
Okay.
Where were these guys, man? The short, easy throws. These guys would never. These guys were underutilized this year, and part of the San Francisco offense was using that tight end. And I've been screaming for tight ends for years, and we got 3 of them, possibly 4, and none of them are getting any targets.
Okay.
So you got a team of playmakers, but you just got to figure out how to use them.
Okay. You know what, Chris? That was a damn good take. I'll give you that. If I was an offensive coordinator out there, right, and you had brought me in and you had given me that speech, I would sign. That was a good take right there. So continuing on. Is there an offensive coordinator that you look at and you say to yourself, this is the guy that you want? Who is out there that you would like to see the New York Jets grab and target?
So I'm not in the mode of I think that if you bring in one, I don't want to bring in a veteran quarterback, and here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. Okay, here's why. Okay. You start looking at some of these guys that you want to come in. I don't know. Yes, we have a good team, but I don't know if we're one piece away from like the Super Bowl or something. Maybe you not take a step back, but maybe you don't go into cap hell, because that was the Rex years. We went into cap hell and we had to win. We got all of them. We spent for 4 years. We was in cap hell, and it ruined the franchise. And I think we're still suffering from it. We lost draft picks. We lost, we were mediocrity. I think that we need to exercise patience. I think we need to find a quarterback, and we need to develop the teams that are in the Super Bowl. Develop their quarterback.
Yeah,
they haven't.
And I get that. So what you're saying is, and I just want to make sure that you're correct, Chris. You're not interested in going after Lamar. You're not interested in going after Aaron Rodgers or Carr or Garoppolo or any of those guys. You want to move forward with Zach Wilson?
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't go after him. I'm saying I would go after him at the right price. If it means giving away like 15 draft choices, I don't think we're there yet because we have still holes in the offensive line. We have opens in the secondary. We have a lot of holes here. If we can get somebody like that in free agency, yeah, by all means, go ahead. But no, don't blow up the team and say, hey, we're going to trade 8. It didn't work for the Denver last year when they did that with Russell Wilson. Yeah. It didn't work for them. So you can't just blow up the team and say we're going to give away all the draft choices and go get a quarterback. It has to be done. If we can do it at the right price, I say do it. But to destroy the franchise for the next 4 years, I'm not willing to do that.
No, listen, and Chris, listen, Chris, I'm right there with you. I don't think the Jets should, just absolutely blow things out of the water. But to get a quarterback in this league, especially the guys that we're talking about, right, the guys that are going to be out there, especially the top guys, your Lamar Jacksons, I even think Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to give up some capital. Guess what? If you look at our issues this season, and I'm playing devil's advocate right now, you look at our issues this season, you could absolutely string all of our losses or most of our losses directly to the quarterback position. If Aaron Rodgers is here, there's no way. If Aaron Rodgers is here, there's no way that we miss the playoffs. If Lamar Jackson's here, Stephen A. just talked about it. If Lamar Jackson is here, we're probably in the AFC Championship because we don't have that type of ability at the quarterback position. We don't. And QB is the most important position in the entire game. We've seen guys, hell, we saw Ryan Tannehill, right? A guy that was at one point thought of as a bust. He was able to put some things together, get to Tennessee, and they've called him their franchise quarterback. They signed him to a pretty big deal. And this was a guy that was an afterthought, and he's been able to lead them. But guess what? Yeah. He got paid though. He got paid quite a bit of money for those times. So yeah, you're gonna have to give up something when you look at the context and situation that we are in and how we have to handle the quarterback position. So Chris, go ahead and give me who your offensive coordinator would be quickly. Go ahead.
Okay, the offensive coordinator that I'm looking at under the scenario that we're bringing in. I don't want to bring in. Okay, I'll give you two names. Okay. I think that for sure Aaron Rodgers is getting traded. I have no doubt about that. I almost would put money that Aaron Rodgers is getting traded. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we get Aaron Rodgers, I would bring in Paul Hackett, the guy from the thing. He's done well with that offensive coordinator. He knows him very well, and if we try to develop Zach Wilson, the guy that's the quarterback's coach for the Eagles who turned around Jalen Hurts' career, I would bring him in as the offensive coordinator. Okay. All right. Those are good takes right there. So my next and final question for you, Chris, because you've had quite a call. Quinnen Williams wants a new deal, man. He wants a new deal. If you're the Jets general manager, what is the most you're willing to give him per year? Are you in the 21 million, 22, 23 million? What are you looking at as being the cutoff range for you to actually keep Quinnen Williams a Jet?
I mean, you could always manipulate the cap. I said 20, 24, 25 with incentives. You can maybe go up to maybe 30 with incentives, with easy incentives. But here's the thing about Quinnen Williams. Here's what I'm scared about. Remember when Muhammad Wilkerson had that great year, right? Yeah. And then they would say, pay the man. And then Muhammad Wilkerson got all that money, right? And the next year he came back, wasn't the same dude. We gave there's a ton of guys like that we gave a lot of money to. And then they came back the next year and they wasn't because they were playing for that contract. When you don't play for that contract, are you going to be that good? Now, I'm not saying Quentin's not going to be that way, but it's scary to have a guy to have a great year when he's in his crazy. When his thing is he going to be that good next year? And that was my concern about giving Muhammad Wilkerson all that money, is that was he going to be that good when he came back? And my thing is that I look at those players and I see the same thing. But I would give Quinnen the money. He earned it. He earned it. But I'm concerned about it.
Yeah, no, can I hear you under normal circumstances? When you look at the context of the situation with Muhammad Wilkerson, Muhammad had also been missing practices. There was a lot of issues with Muhammad Wilkerson behind the scenes at that time that they covered up, them and Rex. I believe they were throwing a birthday party for him. He didn't even show up to his own birthday party. He would not go to practices sometimes. They couldn't find it. Was a lot of stuff going on with Muhammad Wilkerson off the field, or even on that translated, down the line as well, where it was just like, man, look, they should have moved on from him and shouldn't have paid him. That was one of the biggest issues. Us actually moving on from Snacks is what killed us as well. We should have kept him as our nose tackle. But Listen, Chris, it's been phenomenal speaking with you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
This was quite a call from you. Let me give you a hand before you go, man. This was a call from you. I respect it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go Jets.
Oh, not too much, studio. Not too much, audience, okay? I don't pay y'all for the extra claps. Listen, thank you again, Chris. You have yourself a good one, all right?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Listen, Chris calling in. Oh, we just lost. You just lost Bill. Bill, call back in. We just lost you. I'm going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Again, everyone, please be patient. We will get to everybody. Hopefully, Bill comes back on. But now we're going to go to Ted. Ted, we're coming directly to you. Colin, Rich, June. Hopefully, Bill is able to call back in, and we'll get to him. Listen, Ted, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, for those of you that don't know, Ted, he's a savage, man. Savage! Ted, we're sitting here, we're talking Jets. We just got rid of, or if you listen to, the reports, Mike Lafleur has moved on, decided to part ways with the New York Jets. What are your thoughts about the Jets moving on from him? And when you look at this offensive coordinator search, what makes the Jets' job attractive? Eight one three. Ted, if you're talking, we can't hear you. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Gotcha, Joe.
Okay,
Sorry,
now
Joe.
go ahead.
I gotcha.
Give us your takes, man.
Sorry,
what are your
Joe.
thoughts on that?
Sorry, Joe. I muted you. Good evening, Joe. It's been a few weeks. Yep. What you said earlier about getting rid of, that was a complete unload of LaFleur and his uncreative offenses and no in-game adjustments. And any common football fan can see if an ineffective offense is not working and you don't adjust, you're not going to stay very long. And that's part of the issue with having a rookie offensive play caller.
Yeah.
And Saleh too. Part of it is Saleh. They're both learning on the job.
Yeah, but and I hear that. Ted. And again, I want to thank you for calling in. I love going back and forth with you. But this is year two for LaFleur, right? And I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Why can't we look at the situation, right? Yeah, the offense wasn't the greatest, right? But he was also saddled with an offensive line just absolutely jacked up, full of injuries. And then you saddled him with Zach Wilson, who, I'm sorry, we can try to blame Mike LaFleur for all the issues, but my God, Zach Wilson can't hit a screen pass. He's throwing the ball 10 yards over guys' heads on a screen. He can't hit guys right in front of him. You look at the tape from a lot of these games. You say the offensive play calling is bad. There's guys wide open, and he can't hit them. These are simple throws. So it starts to make me believe, as I'm playing devil's advocate here, don't you feel like Mike LaFleur was kind of scapegoated?
I don't know, Joe. A lot of teams have teams deal with injuries. I have to point to a team like the Texans, who were basically competitive practically every week with whoever they had. They played hard. I really think you bring up a fair point, but my biggest concern with the team in general is we started sort of kind of strongly with everything, and every aspect of our team faded. Our defense couldn't get turnovers. our punter couldn't punt. Our kick returners couldn't return. Our punt coverage couldn't cover. It's just like our receivers are frustrated. Our offense can't get going. It's, injuries happen. I think Mike Lafleur continuing to not adapt to any changes in personnel.
Yeah.
Was his undoing.
Talk about it.
You could see, I know we were on, the 20th iteration of our offensive line. I mean, we've had horrendous injuries.
Yep.
I do agree with that. And we lost Brees Hall and Vera Tucker. But first down, run left, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, doesn't work. Second and long. Zach scrambles, runs backward. I mean, but we continue it but we continue the same thing in the next drive.
Yeah.
There's no creativity, Joe.
Yeah.
No creativity.
No.
That's one of my frustrations when I called you during the games and after the games is, Zach could have rolled out. They could have had designed runs, bootlegs. I see all these other quarterbacks doing it.
Yeah.
And, if they're afraid of Zach getting hurt, well, then he's in the wrong profession.
Well,
all these guys get hurt. Hurts got hurt.
Yeah.
The guy from the Bears got hurt. I mean, that's life.
No, listen.
Go ahead, Joe.
And I hear you, and you bringing up some great takes, but you spoke on Zach Wilson a little bit, and I want to bring this to the table. Now we're looking for a new offensive coordinator, right? Now, when you look at the situation here, there's instability at the quarterback position. There's possible instability as well with job security here because everybody has playoff expectations. We all know that Woody Johnson said there's not playoff expectations. I don't know if anyone actually believes that, but he said it. So when you look at these things, these question marks that are flying around, you possibly have to implement a new system.
Yep.
How attractive is this New York Jets offensive coordinator position to you? Like, do you think we'll be able to get a top guy with all of those question marks swirling over his head?
No, we won't get a top guy.
Wow.
All these Frank Reich pipe dreams, all these Frank Reich pipe dreams and, Cliff Kingsbury, these guys are not coming here. There's no way. Why would they take the chance? Cliff Kingsbury he could probably go to a major college if he wanted to go back and start over there. Okay. I was looking at Joe Brady. Joe Brady was a offensive not a consultant, but when Joe Burrow was in LSU, he was like on the staff of LSU.
Okay.
Then he went to Carolina for a minute. Then he went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
He's been there for a little bit. And he's like under Ken Dorsey, who's the OC. Mm-hmm. He's the kind of guy, he's only 33. He's maybe the kind of guy we can look at who can maybe be a little more creative mind than LaFleur. I don't know how. I'm not trying to slam LaFleur. I mean, LaFleur's probably a good coach, but it's a big boy league. You're going to have to performance. It's a performance league.
Yeah. No, listen.
So Joe Brady, 33 years old.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean, Joe Brady. Yeah. Joe Brady will be, a decent selection. He's a guy that's called plays before. There's a lot of names that are out there, and we'll continue to talk about them. You talk about Frank Reich. A lot of people looking towards him. I'm a guy that's interested in Gary Kubiak. Again, he's been away from football for a bit, but you can bring in a fresh mind and a guy that knows the system. It wouldn't be hard for him to continue on a better mind within the system, a system that we already, have been running. So there's a lot of thoughts and ideas out there. But my final question for you is: you look at this Jets quarterback position. You talk about the offensive coordinator. What do you make of it? Do you think that we should move forward with Zach Wilson? Are you looking to see the New York Jets bring back Mike White? Are you a guy that wants to see us target Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson? We've heard them come out and talk about spending big. Woody Johnson talked about it. Sulla talked about attacking the quarterback position in the offseason. What do you think in your mind? What is something that you want to see happen? Who's the guy that you actually want that could be realistic for the New York Jets here at quarterback?
No, I really don't know. My guess would be I would try to get Derek Carr and Greg Olson, who he was his offensive coordinator.
Talk about that's where I was going.
Part-time for the.
Go ahead with the Raiders. Yes. Yep.
I would get them as a tandem. Yep. That's where I would go. An experienced play caller, experienced quarterback, and maybe Zach can, I don't know, sit back and see what happens. Then I wouldn't bring. Maybe I would not bring back Mike White. But if you bring in like a Rodgers or you sign Lamar and it's going to take a lot, and try to sign Quinnen, that's going to take a lot of your money up.
Okay.
Carr might be a little bit more reasonable because we have an offensive line that's in shambles too. We need some pieces.
Yeah.
And some linebackers.
Yeah.
That can tackle.
Yeah. I mean, you're speaking facts. So before I let you go, Derek Carr could be the guy. I talked about him. Before I let you go quickly, Quinnen Williams wants a new deal. Would you be willing to give him $25 per?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
He's the guy. You know, Chris Jones, and there's only a handful of these guys, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones. Quinnen's earned it. I heard a stat today that Quinnen is younger than Michael Clemens, who just came out of college.
Wow.
Quinnen's younger than him. He's been playing for 2 or 3 years already.
Yeah.
Quinnen's a beast.
Yeah.
And he's homegrown, and I think he wants to be a Jet.
All right.
And
Listen.
he certainly earned his contract.
Listen, Ted, it's been phenomenal speaking with you tonight. We got callers. I got to slide off. Thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, you already know. I want to hear from you,
Joe.
all right?
All right, Joe. Take care, Joe.
Absolutely. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Everyone, please be patient. Believe me, we will get to everybody. Salutes to all the savages in the chat going off. Keep asking those questions. I love going back and forth with y'all as well. And we'll come to you guys in a second because we got a lot of callers on the line, and we'll get to everybody. Again, please give the stream a thumbs up no matter where you're watching me from. Subscribe to the stream if you have not already. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Also, share the stream with your friends and your family along your social media. I love connecting with people that way, all right? So we're going to get back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Bill. Bill, I'm coming directly to you. Rich, June, Angelo, other callers as well. Please be patient. We'll get to everybody. Salutes to you, Bill. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Bill, we are talking Jets, man. Mike Lafleur has walked away. What are your thoughts about the New York Jets offensive coordinator position now that he's gone? How are you feeling about it, man? Do you feel that this job here as a Jets OC is attractive? Do you feel like we'll be able to lure a top guy coming in here?
Joe, thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Salute.
Definitely. I hope you did the little finger quotes when you said he walked away from us, because I think he was kind of showing the door, but different story. Anyway, yeah, this is a great opportunity for someone. I think the biggest issue, and a lot of people have problems with LaFleur. I didn't have problems with LaFleur. I thought he wasn't aggressive. Like, you take a look at Saleh, you take a look at Joe Douglas. Those guys are aggressive guys, and he was a finesse guy. He was really, mirrored a lot of the Kyle Shanahan, setting guys up, setting up the team, setting your plays up for the second half, just kind of setting up patterns. And when it got down to it, when he got to the goal line, he needed to play smash mouth. He just wasn't really familiar with that. And I think that was a missing element. I think that may have been what really kind of sunk the boat. And a lot of people think that there were a lot of, development of Zach, all these other things that they think went into the process. At the end of the day, you have the coordinator draws up the plans, calls the plays. I don't know how much time he has to spend with an individual quarterback to train him. I think that's something that we're kind of overlooking, and that's why the QB quarterback coach vacancy is there, because there was a big lapse in working there. But
Sulla talked about that as well. Sulla discussed as well. I don't mean to cut you off, but Sulla also discussed as well that they're looking for a senior offensive assistant to work with the Jets, to work with whoever the Jets quarterbacks is, mainly probably for Zach Wilson as well, because when Knapp and, passed away, rest in peace to Coach Knapp, there was really nobody there to kind of pick up the slack. They brought in Calabrese, and he was working with different guys. But, again, that senior offensive assistant is definitely going to be in that room. And Sulla also said that one of the reasons why he didn't bring this guy in was bring somebody else in was because he wanted, didn't want a lot of voices. He wanted a quiet QB room. But looking at that situation, probably wasn't the best. But continue on. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you nailed it. I mean, you filled in the blanks right there. That makes my point even more. I'm more forceful behind that point, that right now for the offensive coordinator, you need to get someone in who is experienced, aggressive, flexible, and they're going to have to get someone, I think, in terms of who can they get. I don't know names off the top of my head. I haven't looked at a lot of the guys out there. I heard Joe Brady, who would be a disaster, and I would not be excited about him at all. But when you take a look at Yeah, when you take a look at what they have to offer, I mean, obviously the team is aggressive. They have a great locker room. They pick each of these guys, handpick guys, character guys who want to win. They put a lot of work into the roster in terms of getting the right types of guys. Mm-hmm. They just have to have the right types of people teaching these guys. And now, every day it's a different position coaches being let go. And when you take a look at it at the end of the day, the coordinator comes up with the game plan, and the position coach has to teach these guys. And we just see too many errors, too many penalties to think that the position coaches are really being effective because, there's only so much you can put on the coordinator who's calling the plays. But, when you're sitting there and you're going over, okay, what are we supposed to do in this situation? That's a position coach. And across the board, I think we all can agree that everyone's underperformed.
Yeah. So when you look at the situation here, and you're bringing up some great points when you talk about the position coaches and all these things, were you shocked that Robert Saleh basically came out and said they're not committed to bringing in a certain scheme, that they just want to bring in, a guy that they feel is right, and they're not committed to bringing in a guy that already basically runs the scheme that we have? So I would think that you get rid of Mike Lafleur, you want to bring somebody else in that already runs the Shanahan scheme because, again, it's going to take time to adjust. Were you surprised hearing that? And also, when you look at this situation, if they don't bring in this same scheme, are you concerned that the New York Jets offense could possibly take a step back next year with all the miscommunications that we could possibly see when implementing said new scheme?
Yeah, I mean, I should have recorded what you said and just played it back. I feel the same way. How are you going to get a quarterback? You're concerned about your quarterback's progression. Yeah. He's been with the offensive coordinator in this scheme for 2 years, hasn't performed. And I might add that the issues that we're seeing are the same issues he's had on all the draft reports that you read about Zach, the issues he had in terms of under pressure, not making decisions, getting the ball out late. These are things that we knew going in. So you think that when you draft a guy who has these project issues, you would have had a plan in place to address them. Mm-hmm. But either the plan was not put in place, or he wasn't taking the plan. At the end of the day, you can have all the great plans to get these guys and think they can fix him somehow, but if he doesn't get it, he's not going to get it. Yeah. So I don't know why you go ahead and bring in a whole new scheme. Mm-hmm. The guy was having issues before. Now he's got to focus on his footwork and not being afraid to get hit and all these other things and learn a new scheme. So I don't know, man. It's kind of it's showing me more and more. I feel more and more that maybe Saleh would have liked us to work a little bit differently. Maybe he got word that Woody kind of wanted things a certain way also, because a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense if you're looking to grow your team over the long term. Yep. Like before the season started, we had, I think Vegas said we should win 5 games, 5.5 was the line or whatever. We won 7 games, almost made the playoffs. Maybe it would have been better off if we didn't get that close. We maybe got 4 or 5 wins, because then the timeline of progression would have been like, okay, we're building on this thing, because now this seems like we're starting fresh, like you said. We got to bring one up the scheme. If you don't get a guy who has the Shanahan style offense, and it's always going to be kind of different anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of nervous about that. I'm kind of nervous. I'm hoping they can bring someone in who's experienced, who knows how to bring in a simple offense, simplify it so that he can understand that at certain points we have to be a little more simplistic. And that may have been a problem, like I said, with LaFleur he was just got too cute. He got too funky. He had guys in motion all over the place, guys moving all over the place. So it's like, line up and smash the guy in the mouth in front of you. Let's play football that way. No, all of the fancy stuff, it leads to errors. Mm-hmm. It's the guys getting confused, guys missing blocks, and then you have these problems. So it's simpler, might be better in this case, and we might have to go simple because we're bringing in another offense that everyone's going to have to learn quickly, and in a year where it's playoffs or a lot of changes are going to be made. Yeah, you're right. There was times, again, LaFleur would just get too cute. And we saw where that happens. Now, my final question before I let you go, Bill, because you've been bringing in some heat. You look at the New York Jets quarterback situation right now. In your opinion, do you think the New York Jets should go after a guy like Lamar and Aaron Rodgers, or what do you think the Jets should do as you're sitting right now? Is Carr a realistic option for you as a Jets fan? Is that a guy you want? Who are you looking at? I'm not a huge Carr fan. I think at this point, I think Aaron Rodgers would be a guy I would get behind. He's got the experience. He's moody, but that's fine. I think New York is good for moody people. It's New York. I think he'd fit in, being kind of quirky. I think we need a guy for a couple of years while we can do the right thing and pick up maybe if there's a way to get Mike White on a contract and have him sit as a number 2 to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. I think that's a pretty decent quarterback room to have those two guys together for a couple of years. I think the biggest issue that we have to keep in mind is that the team is ready to go. So all these draft picks, everyone's worried about, we have to get these draft picks. We don't need draft picks. We have a team that's ready to go. We just need a quarterback. So the draft picks, if they're something that we need to use to get that quarterback, who cares? We're not going to draft a quarterback who's going to be ready to win next year. So a lot of these people getting hung up on, 2 first round, 3 first, it doesn't matter. The team needs to get someone who can sit in and lead a team, especially if we have a new coordinator. You need a quarterback who's going to be able to sit in there and work with these guys and be on the same page with the coordinator. So then Zach had an issue with it because he was still trying to figure out a lot of other things. Mike White did a great job. The reason they got Mike White is because he played in 2 different systems with 2 different colleges. So they knew he was a smart guy and he could pick up and run with it. And he saw that the team fell behind him immediately and they're all confident.
Yeah.
So you need a quarterback like that who's going to come in. Guys will be confident. He can go ahead and lead. He's done it before. So as much as Derek Carr has a skill set and he may have had a lot of issues, circumstantial issues happening and the Raiders and so forth, I don't know if that's a guy's going to come in off the bat and guys can relate to in that locker room where they can just get behind him immediately in a new system, new coordinator, and just go with it. And I think that's the guy that kind of have to go with. It's not a long-term solution. The guy's like 40 years old now. You get 2 more years out of him. I think that's all you really need.
Are you talking about Derek Carr?
No, Derek Carr, I don't think he's adequate. Despite Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, well, yeah. Aaron Rodgers is definitely 40. We got to figure out. Carr's 32, but I tell you what, if you bring in Greg Olsen, I can see them bringing in Carr. Olsen and Carr have a history. He was there again. I know people want to dump on Carr, and they don't think he's that great. I'm here on the West Coast. I watch Carr. There's been a lot of issues with the Raiders.
I'm on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, I know you are too, but a lot of people aren't. I'm sure you watch the Raiders as well here. Listen, there's been a lot of issues with the Raiders, and it has been a circus over there at times, right? A lot of dysfunction. They had stuff going on with Gruden, and they got rid of him. Even Mayock and his drafts haven't been the greatest, right? But Carr has been a guy that has been solid. Real talk, he's been solid, and I think that he could come here and find a home. All right. Now, do I think he's Lamar Jackson? No. Okay. Do I think he's even Aaron Rodgers? No. But do I think that he's a guy that can come in here and be solid and be what we need? Yes. Derek Carr would be the best quarterback on the team if he came here today. I'm sorry. That's what
I will go with you. I will go with you on that. One condition.
Go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
One condition. One condition for Derek Carr is you have to teach him not to cry in press conferences.
Oh, my.
No crying. You can't have that.
Come on.
Fan base will destroy him. You can't have that.
He's in touch with his emotions.
But last point I wanted to bring.
Go ahead, but I'll let you go.
Last point I wanted to bring is the offensive line. Everyone's trying to kill the team for not having a good season. The offensive line continuity was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. They played together about 75% of the snaps, the top 5 linemen.
Yeah.
The average was like 85% for the league. So everyone keeps forgetting the fact that musical chairs out there with injuries, and then not to even consider that we had the 2 top guys, Britt Tucker and Beckham, were out of the for all season. So hey, we got to pump the brakes on just throwing everything out because we had a bad season in a lot of circumstances. Obviously, we wanted better, but when you start out with no offensive line, you can't block guys who are just getting to know each other every day. That's a different lineup every week. We just can't win that way. So consistency there. We get our guys back. We need some more depth on offensive line of guys who are not just journeyman guys. We're just plug-and-play bodies because we need the plug-and-play bodies to protect your quarterback so that he can have some confidence. Zach was he was not the solution, but it was worse when he was under pressure all the time. So, we have to address that as well as the quarterback.
Yeah.
And we'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. We'll do that. Listen, Bill, I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, all right?
You're the man.
All right, have a good one. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Again, when you call in, please be patient. The lines are hot. We're going to get to everybody, believe me. Next, I'm going to my guy, June. June, I'm coming directly to you. Rich, Chris, other callers, be patient, believe me. We'll get to you in a second. June, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. Listen, we are talking Jets. We're talking the Jets.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Listen, we're talking Jets. We're talking the offensive coordinator position here. We're talking quarterbacks. Give me your thoughts, man. Mike Lafleur now gone. How do you think the Jets will solve this issue here at OC? Who do you think will actually be able to bring in here to continue to move us forward offensively and make us better?
Well, let me say this. I think it was the right move to move on from Lafleur. We had to. And the reason why, to be totally honest with you, was that Minnesota game sealed it for me. Mm-hmm. Not running the ball from the 1-yard line like that, throwing passes, reminded me of Bevel out there in Seattle, who they're talking about for us. I don't want Bevel. Mm-hmm. He didn't even give it to Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line. Move on from him. Mm-hmm. I got some sleepers. I've been, you heard when Salah said he's casting a wide net for the search, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
So I want to name you 3 offensive coordinators that are, I think you heard of one of them for sure. You heard of Brian Johnson out there in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. People keep saying he's done experience. People don't understand that when he was at the Florida Gators from 2018 to 2020, they had the most prolific passing offense in college football when he was the offensive coordinator. Okay. At almost 400 yards a game. So the man can coach offense. Now he ain't wet behind the ears. Maybe in the NFL he ain't do it yet, but he is an offensive coordinator who came out from college. The other one is somebody that, if we're gonna go the experience route, right? Because it looks like that's what they're talking. Mm-hmm. Don't sleep on Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is a sleeper pick. Mm. I think that man knows his stuff. He caught a bad rap in Chicago, but his first year in Chicago, he went 12-4 with a suspect team. He's down there in Kansas City again with his mentor, Andy Reid. Andy Reid coaches come out good. He could be a nice OC for us. I like Matt Nagy. And here goes another sleeper. If we're going to still develop Zach Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. Why not bring in a sleeper guy like Shane Day, who has been tasked with developing Justin Herbert? Mm-hmm. He's the man behind Justin Herbert out there in San Diego. He's been with him since they drafted him. He's successful because of Shane Day. That's a sleeper dude. I expect us to pull somebody in of that caliber. I don't think that we're going to get a Frank Reich, which I think he's overhyped, to be honest. But I don't think Frank Reich ain't coming down here, nobody like that. But I do like the Shane Day. I love the Brian Johnson kid from Philly, and I will be happy with a Matt Nagy.
Okay. Listen, June, and you're bringing up some great guys, especially Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy, we all know from that Chiefs line, and again, he's called plays at this level, which would be huge, bringing in a veteran coordinator. Now, my question for you is, and I want to play this game with you as well, you talked about all these guys, right? But there's a lot of things going on swirling around the Jets. You might have to end up coaching Zach Wilson. There's questions about, possibly playoff mandate, job security being here, because if the Jets don't make the playoffs next year, Woody could end up scrubbing and cleaning house, right? So if I'm Matt Nagy, right, I'm the guy that you want. I'm the guy that you want, June. I'm going to make you be Joe Douglas. I want you to tell me why I should come in here. Why? What are you going to tell me that's going to entice me to want to be the Jets' next offensive coordinator? Give me that. What's your spiel, man? Go ahead.
I got you. Here's the reality. There ain't no place better than winning in New York. You win in New York, you become a legend forever. Joe Namath still gets free hamburgers everywhere he goes in New York.
Talk.
If you win in New York, you win in New York. Mm-hmm. Also, the Jets had the 4th overall best defense in the NFL last year. We're going to be top 3 again this year. We have an incredible defense. If we average, and everybody knows this, any real Jets fan knows this, if we average the league average of 22 points a game, we would have at least won 11 games this year. So we don't need much. You don't need to come in here and be, the revolutionary Bill Walsh from the 49ers with the West Coast when he first brought. You don't need to do all that. Just come down here and score some points. We have a young, talented roster. Look at our receivers. We got Elijah Moore, who was underutilized by Lafleur, right? We have Garrett Wilson, by far probably one of the best 3 young wide receivers in the NFL right now, right? We got a Breece Hall. Hopefully he comes back healthy. Michael Carter, who was also underutilized. And this is key, though. This is key. We have to bring in a quarterback. Nobody's going to come if they have to turn around Zach Wilson. That's a project. That's a tough project and a tough sell. I'm going to be real with you.
Okay.
I don't know if I can convince the thoroughbred to come down with Zach Wilson still here. We got to bring in a vet.
Okay. Look, those are all great points there. I like every single one of those. I can see an offensive coordinator being convinced by you to, come on in after that talk. Now, there's also some stuff that's gone on as well on the other side of the football, right? Quinnen Williams has came out and talked about wanting a new deal before April. What are your thoughts about that situation? Do you think the Jets will be able to get that done? And if so, if you're looking at this situation, where do you think we land with him? How many million do you think he'll get per year?
Well, let's say this, right? Let's look at it this way. When they always talk about an MVP on a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always say to myself, what would that team be without that player? That's like what is the Dallas Mavericks without that incredible young point guard, right? What are the Lakers without LeBron? You need the MVP. Every team has one.
Mm-hmm.
What is the New York Jets defense without Q-Dog?
Okay.
So, nothing. And it don't matter Sauce Gardner out there covering. You can't cover for 45 minutes if we ain't putting no pressure. You got to show him the money. He's the best young defensive tackle in the NFL.
Okay, so would you be okay with the Jets giving him 23 per year? Would that be all right?
I'll be okay with us going up to 25 if we had to.
Okay.
Because we have to let go of Lawson and let the other young boy already coming off that edge like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
We've been holding him back for years. We're using sparingly. What's his name? Huff.
You talk about
we gotta
Bryce
let Huff
yeah.
come in there already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let Huff take over for Lawson. Get rid of Lawson, and Franklin Myers has to take a pay cut. We got to do whatever it takes.
Okay.
You got to sign Williams. You cannot. You lose Williams, our defense goes back to average.
Okay. Now, June, you're bringing some fire right now. So before I let you go, man, you talked a little bit about the Jets quarterback position, not dealing with Zach Wilson, not moving forward with him. So what quarterback are you looking to see the Jets end up with? What guy do you think will realistically be able to attract to get in here, or what kind of move do you think we'll be able to make?
All right, let me say this. When it comes to the quarterback position, any Jets fan who is saying, I don't want Lamar Jackson, I don't want Aaron Rodgers, just stop. Stop watching the Jets. Stop it. If there's a possibility we can get one of those two beasts, let's stop being foolish. Let's go out there and get them. Let's stop it. Okay, that makes it the automatic Super Bowl contender, Lamar Jackson, or my man Aaron the Beast Rodgers. It's automatic Super Bowl contender if we get one of those. Okay. Are we going to get one of those? The chances are slim to none. It's going to be very hard. We're going to have to give up a king's ransom for any of them.
Yep.
So who do I think fits us perfectly? And we don't need the OC to come along with him. But, I like the chip on his shoulder. I like the way he said goodbye to his fans. Give me Derek Carr with the chip on his shoulder.
Okay.
And we're going to get him because let me tell you what's going to happen. They can't trade him because he has a no-trade clause. All he got to do is sit back and wait to get cut. And then there's a bidding war, and we got money to go. We got the money.
Well, yeah.
You heard Woody. Woody got the money.
Well, I mean, he has to sign off on the no trade clause. There's teams that he could trade that the Raiders could trade him to. Where I believe he could sign off. But you're right. They're going to be looking for some capital and back. But he definitely can control where he goes. And I think he's one of the most likely guy to come here. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's phenomenal. But we'd have to give up a king's ransom for him. I think the Browns ended up trading something like a couple first-round picks. I think it was 3 first-round picks, 1/3, and 2 fourth-round picks, and then they ended up giving him $46 million per. I think Lamar Jackson's going to want a lot more than that, probably $50 million per. And the talent is there; it's off the charts. But I'm just wondering if we'll be able to make that happen. We can absolutely manipulate the cap, but we got to see what's happening going forward. But if there's a likelihood of getting him, especially with what we're saying with Woody Johnson, he wants to spend big. But go ahead, give me your final. I'll give you the final word on that before I let you go.
Right. Let me say this. If there's a way it can be done, I trust Joe can get it done. If there's a way, but name me a quarterback. And you're going to know this, who has played with more dysfunction than Derek Carr out there with the Raiders.
Talk about it. I just said that.
So if that man can handle, that dysfunction and out there with that mess of a coach they got, that guy ain't no coach. You put him back on the OC, he's not a coach. Everybody knows he's not a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he can handle all that. Come on down here, Derek. You don't need to do all that. All you got to do is just get the ball out your hands quick and put it in these young playmakers' hands. I promise you, if we get Derek Carr, we'll touch on this next year. God bless us with life. If we get Derek Carr, we're going to be at least an 11 to 12 win team with Derek Carr.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking facts. Listen, June, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man. I really like your takes. You have yourself a good one, all right, my friend?
You as well, my brother. God bless you.
All right, same to you. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Colin. We're going to go to Rich. Hopefully Rich calls back in. But Colin, salutes to you. You know, I want to thank you for calling in tonight. For those of you that do not know, Colin, he's a savage, man. Savage. And he's also a hater. For those of y'all that don't know, he is a hater as well. Let's keep it real, okay? He stay hating, all right? Colin do stay hating.
What's up, Joe?
Salutes to you, Colin. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, We're talking about the Jets. We're talking about everything right now, man. Give me your thoughts. Mike Lafleur is out. Do you feel like he was scapegoated?
Let me just say really quick. I was so happy that we lost to Miami. I didn't give a shit about the one. Oh, excuse me.
Watch your language. Watch your language. Family show. Come on.
I was glad we lost to Miami because I hate the Patriots, and they didn't get in because we lost the game. So, hater. I was very happy for anyone.
Oh, my goodness.
Because that win wasn't going to change anything. It wasn't going to change anything. It wasn't going to make anyone's job any safer. It wasn't going to make Lafleur safe or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what I want to say really quick, though, Joe, about Quinnen Williams, because I know you talk about Quinnen.
Yeah.
And this is from a management perspective. I do not see them signing Quinnen before the draft.
Wow.
I'm almost certain it's not going to happen.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because to pay him $23, $24, $25 million, like Joe Douglas has expressed before, he's not a reckless spender.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is with that 13th pick in that draft, there's 2 defensive tackles that can possibly fall to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost certain that if one of them falls to us, I can see them drafting a defensive tackle and trading Quinnen as well.
Wow.
So one, I don't think he's going to get signed before the draft.
Okay.
I think they're going to wait to see what happens, how the draft plays out.
Okay.
And if they're able to get one of those top 2 defensive tackles, they're going to draft one of those guys, and they're going to trade Quinnen.
Well, here's my thing. Hold on, Colin. And I hear what you're saying. And first off, again, Quinnen Williams is also an AP Sports All-Pro first teamer as well. Him and Sauce Garner made the AP Sports All-Pro first team. C.J. Mosley, the second team as well. NFL PA All-Pro team. We saw Justin Hardy make as well on that. So when you look at the situation there, I don't agree with that take because Quinnen Williams, first off, he's an all-pro guy. Second off, you see the impact that he's had on the field, right? Everything that he's done for us this year, sack leader, wreaking havoc, all that stuff. And he's also a team guy. Then when you look at that situation, if you let him walk or you trade him, what does that say about how you treat guys that you brought into the building, right? Of course, Douglas didn't draft him, but he still was drafted by the New York Jets. And we've seen him wreak havoc here.
Yep.
I don't think you move on from him because there's no guarantee that any of those guys you draft are going to be what he is. That's first off. Second off, the first-round pick should not be spent on a defensive tackle. It should absolutely be spent on this offensive line. We have issues on the other side of the ball at tackle that are just out of your mind, like glaring, right? Our offensive line stinks, okay? From right tackle, there's questions at left tackle as well. You have to address those situations. Hell, I'd take a linebacker in the first round before I take a defensive tackle without just, before I bring back Quinnen Williams. There's so many holes in this football team that you must fix. Hell, there's a center. We need a center. We just talk about tackles. I'm talking about tackles. We need a center. Connor McGovern stinks. There's so many issues along the line that you have to shore up. And we're talking about our issues offensively. You must do more to pour into the offensive side of the ball to shore that up. We can't run the football. We can't protect our quarterback properly. We've seen this all year. No, that capital needs to be spent on an offensive lineman to come in here and handle business up front. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I can see them drafting. I could see them drafting the O-line, but there's probably only one guy that's worth a top 20 pick. Mm-hmm. So they may have to trade back, if they're going to do that. But there's going to be a lot of value at that 13 pick. Mm-hmm. And they can always address tackle in the second round, third round, whatever, because, let's keep our fingers crossed that Becton comes back healthy. He lost a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. Vera Tucker's going to come back as well. So, and we can address those issues as well, in free agency. So there's options there, but
why would you
talented guys coming out of the draft?
Yeah, and I hear your take there, and I don't mean to cut you off, but then if you're talking about addressing tackle and free agency, we all know free agency, you're going to pay out of your nose for certain positions, and offensive line, particularly tackle, is one of them. We need a left tackle. I know you just said Mekhi Becton, he's going to come back, he's going to be healthy. There's no guarantee he's going to be healthy, and everyone knows I love Mekhi Becton. He's next to me, right? He hasn't played football but in like 2 years. He's been hurt. Right? Last year he tried to come, or this past season he tried to come back, had another issue with the knee, and I know that there was weight concerns, but supposedly again we've seen him. He looked like he's lost the weight, but there's no guarantee that he's going to come back and be healthy. And even when he was, healthy that rookie year, he missed a lot of time that year too due to certain injuries. I remember he had a chest injury, he had a shoulder injury, he's had multiple injuries. So there's no way you can go into next season thinking I can depend on Mekhi Becton to be fully healthy. Because that's what we tried to do this season, and then guess what? Fant and with Dwayne Brown starting it, there was a lot of shuffling there because he was gone before the season even started. So why not pay Quinnen Williams that money?
We don't have to depend on Becton.
And then draft there. Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't have to depend on Becton, but when I look at like what the mock draft would look like. There's one tackle that probably will go before the 13th pick, but then after that, the next best guy is probably not going to go until, the mid-20s. So that's what I'm saying. That 13th pick, we could do a lot of damage on that 13th pick if we stay at that pick. But we'll see. But the other thing is the quarterback situation.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Everyone says we are a quarterback away from get into the playoffs, potentially, get into the Super Bowl, right? So, if this team is serious about getting, championship, get into the Super Bowl, me personally, I think you go out and you figure out what you need to do to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I know people are talking about Brett Carr, Garoppolo, all these guys. I don't think these guys are going to get you to the Super Bowl. If we're going to go out and spend money to get a guy, to get us somewhere, go get the best guy.
Okay.
And the best guy available is going to be Aaron Rodgers. So don't settle for second best.
I mean,
Carr is great, but there's no guarantee he's going to get us to a Super Bowl.
Okay. So my question,
I feel like with Aaron Rodgers.
So my question then becomes for you, right? Aaron Rodgers, 40-year-old guy, you're going to be paying him $50 million per year. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to? You said, hey, you want to go out there, you want to get him, in your mind, he's the best quarterback. Are you basically willing to give up 2 to possibly 3 first-round picks for him? Plus a little bit more?
I don't know if that would be the amount. Yeah, I don't know if that would be the amount of picks, given his age, that the Packers would want that much. But
I think that it could be that. I mean, we've seen guys with less talent, right, get traded for quite a bit, right? And then you look at Aaron Rodgers, not only are you looking at a guy that's still solid in this league, he can still play like at a high level, but he's a staple there in Green Bay. You get rid of him, it's like he is Green Bay. So if they're moving on from him, you're going to have to give up capital. You're looking at probably maybe 2, maybe 3 first rounders, and maybe a third round pick. You add that in there. That's possibly what you could end up giving up for him. Go ahead, and you got to pay him $50 million. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he don't want to be there. That's the bottom line. He doesn't want to be there. So the fact that he doesn't want to be there might give some kind of leverage. But at the same time, if you go get Lamar Jackson, you're spending a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Which you already saw the trend with Russell Wilson and Deshaun Jackson. So, I love Lamar, but I don't think I'm paying him $50 million to come quarterback for the Jets.
Yeah, but isn't that a different situation?
Like I said, I prefer get a guy.
I mean, that's a different situation though too, because
the way I view it,
you look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's a young guy, right? And he's extremely talented, right? He's been an MVP before. We've seen him go out there on the field and handle business, and he's a legitimate weapon, not just his arm, but with his feet. I don't think the New York Jets don't have that type of ability at quarterback. I don't think we've had that type of ability. I mean, not with the feet. There's been I can't even think of a guy we've had with that type of feet as far as quarterback, the guy that can run and make the plays that he's making. But his ability to throw from the pocket is off the charts as well. With him here, I mean, you would be on the steps of a Super Bowl because that's the piece that we're missing. And everybody talked about that this year. You look at the situation, this is a top 5 defense. You plug Lamar Jackson into this offense, the Jets they're on the door. They're knocking at the door. Our offense would completely change with him being in there. Go ahead.
Like I said, I love Lamar. But the way I'm viewing it, Joe, is you get Aaron Rodgers in here, you keep Zach Wilson, you get Rodgers for like 2 years, and hopefully Zach can sit behind Rodgers, learn, and then take over this team.
Okay.
2 years from now, and we're still going to have a guy that's probably going to be 23, 24, 25, if that much. So that's how I'm viewing it. If you get in Lamar, you're not keeping Zach Wilson on this team. What's the point?
Yeah.
Lamar's young still, so and that's why I think that's why I'm leaning towards getting Rodgers. You get Rodgers, I think you have a established quarterback that will definitely get us into the playoffs, probably even get us an AFC championship. But we'll see how it play out. And as far as like the OC, like I feel like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you need to establish who your quarterback is before you can just go hire an OC, because you're not going to hire an OC that can't coach Lamar, or you're not going to hire an OC that can't coach Aaron Rodgers, right? I think you want to get your quarterback situation intact first.
Well, and that's going to be one of the biggest adversities to attracting an offensive coordinator here. I think it actually should be the opposite, where you should get an offensive coordinator to then establish who your quarterback is, because you establish the scheme depending on what a quarterback's strengths or negatives is going to depend on how he performs within the scheme. That's how it works, right? Like if you look at Zach Wilson, for instance. If you're asking him at this point to be in a scheme that asks him to decipher defenses and get the ball out of his hands quickly, for what we've seen, he don't fit the scheme for that. Right now, his strength is what? His strength is rolling outside, launching the football down the field, using that arm, playing just to-the-wall football. You get an offensive coordinator that can adjust his scheme to do that, or an offensive coordinator that has a scheme that asks him to do that, then boom. You might see a little bit more success out of him, And we see that with different places. So you want to get your offensive coordinator in here to then figure out, hey, what is the scheme that you can run to move forward? But with the quarterback situation here, they're going to have to be committed to Zach Wilson or they're going to have to be committed to fixing Zach Wilson, because the coaching staff and everyone else has said that they are going to stick with Zach Wilson through hell or high water and coach him until they get something out of him. Not saying he's going to be the starter, but they're saying, hey, this is a kid that you're going to have to fix. That's the biggest issue to bringing an offensive coordinator here. Go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
So in that case, then you have to hire an OC that's going to be able to work with Zach Wilson, and whoever the veteran quarterback you bring in is going to have to play the same scheme as well, be able to play the same scheme. So you can't just throw out names like, I want Garoppolo, I want Carr, I want, Lamar. You're going to have to find the right quarterback that's going to be able to fit that scheme as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, though. So, we're just going to have to speculate for now. But like I said, I don't think we're going to be signing Quinnen before draft day.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
That's my final.
Listen, Colin, I hear you. I want to thank you for calling in.
We'll rewind this tape here. Yeah.
I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, all right?
All right, Joe. Take care, buddy.
Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Please be patient. We will get to everybody. Trust me, the lines are hot. Next, I'm going to my guy, BK. BK, I'm coming directly to you. Chris, other callers as well. We'll get to you in a second. Salutes to you, BK. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, for those of you that don't know BK, he's a savage. Savage. BK salutes, man. Listen, Michael Lafleur is gone, my friend. All right. What are your thoughts about him departing the New York Jets? We have a hole there at the offensive coordinator position. Do you feel like Mike Lafleur was scapegoated?
Well, listen, there's some truth to that. Like, yeah, he was scapegoated because two things. One, Zach Wilson, we watched the games. Mm-hmm. The guy was not proficient at making easy plays. Mm-hmm. Easy plays.
Yeah.
Right now, Lafleur did make mistakes in games. He did. No doubt he did. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: with Zach Wilson in the game as the season went on, teams figured him out very quickly, and they could not move the football. Mm-hmm. And credit though Mike Lafleur, because listen, when they had Breece Hall, the offense was moving. Okay, so. Yes, he's a little bit of a scapegoat. Has he made some mistakes? He has. But, so for me, man, let's get the right OC in here right now. We at where we at. Mm-hmm. Get the right OC in there right now and then get the quarterback.
Okay. And I hear you, and I want to go right there with you, BK. Who's the right OC in your mind at this point?
Who's right? What are some of the people that's out there that they probably been looking at? Or
listen, we can go down my list. I started off with Gary Kubiak because I would like to see us continue with the Shanahan system. But I understand why some people are like, he's probably not because he's been away from football for a little bit. Some people talking about Frank Reich, right? But a lot of people saying that's a pipe dream, but he's quite a pipe dream. He can come in here. He can work with Zach. He can if he can't help Zach, then nobody can, right? Then you also got you got Matt Nagy out there. I just talked with a caller about him too. Matt Nagy coming from that Chiefs coaching tree. He's been a head coach as well before. There's other guys out there as well. Jim Bob Cooter, Cliff Kingsbury. Some people dreaming about him, especially with the Jets coming out saying that there's they have no attachment to a certain system. I mean, there's names out there, man. What are your thoughts?
Right. So the two names that stick out is Gary Kubiak and then probably Frank Reich, only because they've had success. I mean, Gary Kubiak kind of like started this whole system, and I think that he would get the respect of the players, and he can kind of control the offensive side of football, like really control it. Keith Kingsbury, I don't want him. I don't see him as a guy that can really take control of the offensive room and the offensive coordinator. I don't see him as that guy. He might be a good play caller, but I'd rather get a guy like Gary Kubiak or even Matt Nagy. So that would be the three on my list. Kubiak will be first. He's very for football, but that doesn't matter. The guy understands the game. He truly does. Okay. Right? And then you have Frank Reich, who actually been a quarterback, understands the game, and he's a little bit more mature. He's a little older than and been in the league a little longer than Robert Saleh. Mm-hmm. So I like them. Also, it's not Matt Nagy. That should be three on the list. Definitely no Keith Kingsbury. I don't want him.
Okay. Now you talked about the quarterback position as well, right? So when you look at the quarterback position, we still got Zach Wilson here, right? And that's one of the things that I think is going to kind of hinder us from possibly getting one of those top guys to come in here, because you're going to be saddled with coaching and fixing Zach Wilson, right? So I'm going to play this game. Right. I played it with a couple other callers. I'm going to play it with you, BK, because you know what you're talking about. You're going to be Joe Douglas. I'm going to be the coordinator that you want to bring in, whoever it is. Convince me why I should come in here and take this offensive coordinator job. What about the New York Jets would make me excited to come here and coach your offense? What?
Well, first of all, you got some top players here at the receiver position, young players.
Who was that?
You got
who are these top players you're talking about?
Wilson.
Who?
I'm gonna run it down to you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
You have Garrett Wilson. Okay. You have Breece Hall. You have 3 tight ends. That's what you have right now, and they can ball all day. They can. The issue we have is at quarterback. So what makes it attractive is if you're going to allow him to be in a decision process of getting the quarterback you want, be it Zach Wilson or someone else. You want to get your quarterback room in order, and the offensive coordinator is a big part of that.
Well, listen,
but they got some of the players right now. The issue is the quarterback.
Listen, BK. Listen. I'm a prospective offensive coordinator here. That's all fine, right? Garrett Wilson, yeah, he's good, right? I like him. Okay, Elijah Moore, yeah, he's good. Okay, that's fine. Your tight ends, all right. But this offensive line stinks, man. It stinks.
Oh,
I mean, are you going to do something about that? Like, what, are you just going to leave me hanging?
Right.
Nothing else will work if I can't. Right? If I can't get guys blocked up front, I mean, what are you going to do to help me along the offensive line, man?
Well, the thing is with this, they had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. That's one.
Okay.
Right. So we know they had a lot of injuries there.
All right.
They need a new center without question. They need a new center.
Yeah.
Now Joe Douglas now Lincoln Thompson. No one could guess that he going to be that bad. To me, he was the worst on the line. He was with him. So. What you need to do now is get depth, and you do that in the draft.
Okay, all right. So you'll draft me an offensive line. Okay, pick me up an offensive lineman, a center, maybe another tackle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
Well, I'll look for a line, but at number 13, if they're not there, I'm gonna pick the best player available. They don't have to be off the lineman.
Oh, it better be. It better be something near. There'll be some offensive linemen there that'll be real good. There'll be some offensive linemen there that'll be good. I'll tell you what, they better take something along this line, whether it be a center, a tackle. And if there ain't nothing there, then you better trade down, or something. Because
don't do that. Don't do that. That's you have to stay there and get the best player available. You have to do that. That's the problem. You got to make your team better every year. You need to get the best players on your team.
I don't agree with that. I understand what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Often the best player available – here's the issue with best player available, and it's exactly the same thing that I said with Mike McCagnon. When you're a team that's trying to find a way that has glaring holes at positions of impact, if the best player available is not an impact position, you're going to be stuck, right? So if you look at the New York Jets, we still have issues along what? Our offensive line, massive issues. There's multiple issues along our offensive line. 2 tackle spots. Some people, believe, again, 2 tackle spots to center position. Some people want to draft a guard to go behind Tomlinson because they don't like Tomlinson. There's people that want to get rid of Lake and Tomlinson. It's going to be very expensive to do that. I don't think the Jets will. I'm going on record by saying I don't think the Jets will do it because it's very expensive. But you could argue that Lakin has been very up and down and bad. Then you look at the other side of the ball, right? Pass rusher is there. Right? We could add a pass rusher to really help this defense. This defense built from front to back, not back to front. So there's some other spots that you can go. But if best player available is a defensive tackle, because there's some guys in here that are really good, or if best player available is something else that the Jets don't need and already have, you don't go best player available. You trade back and address needs, especially when we're at the spot that we're at. Go ahead.
No, I hear what you're saying, but here's the flaw I have with that is the fact that the offensive line this year, you were injured. You got players coming back, right, that could fill spots. Now, you do need another offensive lineman. You can find that in the second and third round. You can find good offensive linemen there. You cannot find top players such as pass rushers and linebackers in the third and fourth and fifth round. You're not going to find them there. You have to get a player who can impact as number 13. If that's a linebacker or a tackle, you better get them. If not, you're going to be a losing franchise. That is a recipe for a losing franchise to me.
Okay. And I'm going to rebut that with this. You can talk about the injuries along our offensive line, right? And that's great. But again, that leads to my point because Mekhi Becton, he ain't been healthy in 2 years at all. You look at the issues along our offensive line we talk about. Now, at this point, Mekhi Becton was our right tackle. We have no answer at left tackle. Are you telling me you want to go forward with Fant? He's not the answer. Dwayne Brown? He's not the answer. Neither one of those guys are great tackles, so you have a big hole at left tackle. There's nobody to answer that.
Tackle.
Huh?
Vera Tucker can play tackle.
Okay, then who's playing right guard? Then who's playing right guard?
You want you got Herbig there, who's also a good guard.
Herbig is not a guy that Herbig's a good guard. He was injured this year, but he's not the guy that you want to go forward with. Right. He was a guy that came in and could hold the fort, but he's not the next level. He's not Elijah Vera Tucker at right guard. Right? If Elijah Vera Tucker had been healthy
nobody
this year,
is.
You can find guys in the league. You can find guys in the draft that will give you some impact. But when you start moving Elijah Vera Tucker around and you just say, "Hey, we're going to put him out there at left tackle," when he, he played for left tackle, he was decent, but he's more of a guard in this league. So if you leave him there at right guard, you still have a big answer or a big hole there at left tackle. And you still have question marks again with Mekhi Becton, who ain't played and been healthy in 2 years. There is no guarantee that he's going to be healthy next year either.
I agree. But
so
here's the other thing, though. Here's the other thing. Mm-hmm. You drafted a guy, Max Mitchell, in the 4th round. Now, I know you may not be. We don't know if you
go ahead.
We don't know that. But my point is that you drafted him at 4th round. And he is a serviceable tackle, and he has an upside to him. My point is that you're gonna find these athletes in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. When in another year they're gonna need some linebackers. The linebacking core is decent. They're gonna need some legit linebackers. If they're available at 13, I would rather see them get that and get your offensive lineman in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. You could get them there. Your top linebackers, they're not coming in the 3rd or 4th round. And you know what you're going to be? A losing team. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. That's why,
No, you're making perfect sense. But again, you're leading to my point is that you draft at the positions of need. You don't draft best player available.
Right.
You draft at the positions that you need when you're in the position that we're in. I know everyone's excited, but we're still in a rebuild. So we're still figuring things out. We're still trying to figure out how to go forward. Go ahead.
You need a running back, right? If you need a running back, mm-hmm. you need a running back, and the best player is a running back at 13, and he's the best player. You know what you do? You draft him. Now, if you have a top running back though, who's getting you 1,000+ yards, yards and carries over 4 or 5 points out per carry, mm-hmm. then you don't need to draft them. But guess what? The best players on most teams mm-hmm. are on a defensive line. They're your best athletes at linebacker and D-line. You need those guys. Otherwise, you are not winning. Period. You're not going to win.
No.
You're not going to win in this league because you're not going to win. You can get a lot because you can find linemen. You can find good linemen in the 2nd, the 3rd. You can find them. You don't find these top athletes like a Von Miller, like a Aaron Donald, like a Quinnen Williams. You don't find them in the 3rd or 4th round. And you need those guys to win. You need guys. And that's where they're at. They're in the 1st round. And you need to get them. Otherwise, you're going to be a losing organization. You're not winning.
No, listen, and I hear you, but even when you talk about if you need to run it, I hear you. But I just don't agree. I think that you can find certain, you can find talent in the second. You talk about running back, we got Breece Hall in the 2nd round. And Breece Hall was one of the top running backs in the league before he went down. Agree. So it's like, I hear what
that's my point.
I hear what you're saying, but look, if the New York Jets, if we're sitting there in the 1st round and we're needing to draft some guys, unless it's a linebacker, which I don't know if they'll go that. And again, if you look at Joe Douglas and his makeup, right? What is he all about? Offensive lineman, right? He's taking a guy in the 1st. Right. He took Vera Tucker in the 1st, the offensive lineman. He took Mekhi Becton in the 1st, offensive lineman. So there's no doubt in my mind he's going to continue to address the offensive line and fix it. But I don't think that any of those positions are more important or more needed or more necessary than drafting offensive line in the 1st round. That's a fact. The Jets, the issues up front.
You need to draft them.
No, you don't. Listen, the type of impact that we need at the offensive line are going to be at guys at the top of the 1st round. But I want to kind of move on for that because I want to get your takes on something else. When you look at the situation.
We're not there.
Yeah, when you look at the situation, right, with Quinnen Williams, we're talking about him, right? So my final question before I let you go. Quinnen Williams, you look at the situation. He wants a contract before April. I had somebody calling in just a second ago saying, hey, he doesn't think they're going to get a deal done with Quinnen Williams before April. What are your thoughts about that situation? Could you see the Jets making the move? Do you think they'll be able to get it done? And if so, what is the max per year that you think he'll get? Do you think he'll get close to Aaron Donald, or would you be more comfortable with him getting that around that $25 to $23 million range?
It needs to be up there, above 25. That guy's legit. He's your best player. Mm-hmm. He's your best player. So, I mean, you got to keep him there. He's young. To not draft him, to not give him that type of deal, then you got a serious problem in this organization, and you're gonna go back to being a losing one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But because those type of guys, they don't come around that often, right? He's a top player. He's a top premier defensive tackle, and he's rare. That's what you got on your team. And, they got to get it done. They got to get that part of it. Hopefully they get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we do. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in, BK. I love going back and forth with you. But I got other callers. I got to slide off.
Yeah, it's all good.
Salute to you. You have yourself a good one, all right, my friend?
No problem, please.
All right, salutes. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. All right, we're taking all callers. Again, please be patient. We will get to everybody when you call in. Please make sure, all right, that you know what your area code is. Because if I don't know who you are, all right, I'm going to call you by your area code, okay? Please know what that is. Also, please make sure your phone is good to go. I don't want to hear any crazy background noise. If you have me, all right, listening to me on your TV or your computer or whatever, just put me on mute. I want to hear you. I don't want to hear the echo. I want to go back and forth with you. I want to have these conversations. So we'll get into these lines again. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. If you want to give to the platform, the super chat is up there. Also, there's a Cash App at the bottom of the screen as well. Salutes to all the savages as well. We'll get to y'all in a second. As y'all know, the lines are hot. We're getting to our next caller, all right? And it's going to be my guy, Tim. Tim, I'm coming directly to you, all right? Chris, other callers as well, please be patient. We'll get to you in a second. Tim, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Tim, we talking Jets, man. Mike Lafleur no longer the Jets offensive coordinator. What are your thoughts about him walking away, and what makes this New York Jets job attractive to another coordinator to possibly come in?
What is up, man? Oh, man, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good to go, man. I hear you. What's going on?
What's going on, man? It's been a long time since I called in. Good to hear you.
Absolutely.
And I hope all is well. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, Mike Lafleur hitting the road, Jack. I think we all kind of expected that, right? Somebody had to pay for the lack of offense this season. It wasn't going to be Saleh. It wasn't going to be, pretty much anybody else.
Yeah.
The defense obviously is on point. So what do I think of them hitting the road? I mean, see, it's hard for me as a fan watching, and let me know if you agree with this in any way. It's hard for me as a fan watching and watching the analytics online and different channels and going over things and deciding whether it was a Zach Wilson / instability at the QB position problem, plus the lack of a left tackle for a lot of the season and a I guess reliable running back, or was it just straight up everything about the offensive coaching that was not up to par? Now, it's kind of impossible for us to determine that from the outside looking in, right? Because obviously Zach Wilson became the pariah at the end of the season. So it kind of seemed like, to me at least watching, it seemed like, okay, the offensive brass or the management brass is kind of making a head nod / acknowledgement that some of this offensive struggle, or maybe all of it, we don't know as a fan, is due to all of a sudden Zach Wilson being completely inept. And I don't know about you, but I felt like the storyline changed drastically from the beginning of the season with Zach Wilson to the end of the season. It seemed like in the middle of the season, at first it was like, okay, blah, 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 we'll give him some leeway, we'll be gentle. And then all of a sudden it was just like, that's it. He's out, he's done. And so that tone change really struck me as a little bit odd.
Yeah,
and then now at the end of the season, we're seeing Lafleur pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, I hope the problems are leaving the building. Just put it that way.
No, and I hear you, Tim. And I think that there was a lot of things that we saw, right? We got more information. When you look at, like you said, to start off the season again, Zach was hurt, didn't come back and play until the Steelers game. But we saw that the biggest issue with the New York Jets wasn't the defense, right? The defense was putting things together. It was Zach Wilson in that offense. That Patriots game that we lost, both of them, that's on Zach Wilson. You look at those throws he was trying to make, and then that's where you start that Broncos game. We won that game, but, man, Zach Wilson was terrible. He's spinning around like a ballerina. He's running backwards every chance he gets, right? So you started to see those things, and you started to wonder. Yeah. And then, again, we started hearing him come out after games and literally say, he literally said this, I do not want to play safe, boring football. I want to go out there and make plays, which means you want to go out there and throw 3 interceptions against the Patriots and lose us that game. So I was like, whoa, what are you saying, dude?
Nobody's arguing that he's from Utah. You know what I mean? Like the dude, he doesn't know. He's a young kid from Utah.
No,
like,
listen.
He has no idea the ripple effect that 3 words can have in the Big Apple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I tell you what.
And when that just look, Joe, real quick. Let me just. I just want to add to what you're saying here, okay? Because we had such a circus of events that could only be somehow coordinated by a New York Jets organization, where Zach Wilson has like a pitiful performance, then comes out and basically does not take accountability, which was like the most terrible soundbite I've seen for a Jet in a long time. And then on top of that, we can't get any offense going in numerous close games where our defense was phenomenal. And as a fan, to see that defense on the field, there's no greater high than to see our defense working on every level from all the way back to all the way up to the line and just dominating teams. Like, I haven't felt that way in such a long time. There was a couple games where I remember Quinnen and, like, at least 2 of the other guys just threw their men on the field like 4 feet from them and then just destroyed the quarterback. I haven't seen that from a Jets team in a long time. And I was so excited. And then on the flip side of the field, we have to digest the exact opposite. Like, it is the most bipolar emotional experience that you could possibly have as a fan, because all you want to see at a certain point is for the defensive guys to get those wins, because the offense is just destroying us. You know what I mean?
No,
and Tim, it's a shame.
Tim, you're speaking absolute facts, and it was rough. And again, with Mac, and even when you were talking about, you as fans who are sitting here and we don't know, I think it was a bit of both, right? But I think a lot of the blame goes to Zach Wilson because of his terrible quarterback play. But again, even against the Vikings, we saw us be on the one and us not be able to punch it in. Our red zone numbers are terrible, and I think a lot of that was Mike LaFleur's play calling, him getting too cute in the red zone and costing Jets, and he talked about it, right? So we're getting short on time, but my final question for you before I let you go, because you're bringing the heat, as we look for a new offensive coordinator, right, who is the guy that's on the top of your mind to come in here? Do you already have a guy in mind that you want to see the Jets bring in?
Well, look, full disclosure, I haven't taken a look at who's available yet, but I did. If I'm not mistaken, the guy from the Eagles is available, right?
John, I think his name is Johnson. I can't remember his name right now, but yeah, Johnson. People are talking about him. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Eagles organization over the past, I live right outside Philly. I lived in Philly for 13 years. I followed their organization as kind of a second team from the outside looking in. They are a good organization, and I think they've proven that they can be consistent when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. And and they could be in the Super Bowl this year, very likely. So I don't know. I think we we should take a close look at that guy.
Yeah,
and his team.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, who do you have in mind? You got your eyes on anybody?
I've talked about Gary Kubiak. There's people that don't want him, and I get it. He's been out of football for 2 years, but he runs the scheme that we have. Frank Reich as well has been talked about. There's been multiple guys discussed about possibly coming in here, and we'll see. But again, I think a big hindrance to us getting the top guy is going to be having to deal with Zach Wilson, and then the uncertainty or unsureness about their position as far as job stability. Even though Woody Johnson has come out and said there's no playoff mandate, right? They said that. No playoff mandate. You got to be serious. We know Woody Johnson. He says a lot of things that you don't necessarily stick by. Go ahead. I'll give you the final word.
real quick before I get off, what do you think of Woody's comment about wanting to spend big in free agency on a veteran QB as opposed to going to the draft? And do you think
Go ahead.
the draft is better than free agency?
As far as at the quarterback position, when you look at where we're at right now, if you want to make the playoffs next year, you're going to have to bring in a veteran guy. I love Zach Wilson. I'm a Zach Wilson supporter. I was bashed for it, right? And now everybody all of a sudden has forgotten that I was that guy. But at this point, he does not look like he's the answer. It looks like he needs to be sat down and be completely fixed, overhauled from top to bottom, right? So if you look at this situation, you got guys out there, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Carr, all those guys are out there. Do I realistically think we'll end up with Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers? No, I don't. I think we'll try. I think we'll be in the running, but I don't think we'll end up with those guys. The realistic option I think is for us is Carr. And I think he's going to come here, and a lot of people just don't want him. But I'm telling you that I think that Derek Carr could come in here, and as long as he's just solid old Derek Carr, just be the average, top 15 quarterback. That's all we need is a top 15 guy. The New York Jets.
Good old 9-11 win.
Listen, just be that guy here, and I'm telling you, the Jets could win a Super Bowl. We really could with that type of play because our defense is there and everything else is. So that's where I'm at with the Tim. But
I agree. If anything, Derek Carr's fault, in my opinion, over the years, is that he's had to force to one good receiver, Cooper or Adams.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
and that makes him one-dimensional. It's not that he's a bad quarterback. It's just he's always got to force long balls to those guys, and that's why he has so many interceptions over the years.
Yep, and the Raiders are dysfunctional. But listen, Tim, I got to slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man. I haven't heard from you in quite a bit, man. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, man.
You too, man. Keep it real.
Absolutely.
Love you, man. Take care.
Salutes.
Peace.
Thank you. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. All right, we're getting short on time. Quickly give me your takes. I want to get my thoughts from folks. As y'all know, the lines were hot. Chris, we're coming directly to you. Salutes to you, Chris. For those of you that do not know Chris, he's a savage, man. I ain't going to lie. Savage! Chris, I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, quickly. Mike Lafleur gone. Give me your thoughts on the Jets offensive coordinator position, and what are your thoughts about Mike Lafleur walking away from the Jets?
Honestly, I didn't think Mike Lafleur was going to be the scapegoat. I hope the scapegoat will be Woody.
Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, I didn't expect him to be gone. I was, again, like I said, I was hoping Woody Johnson would be the one to be the scapegoat. Anyway.
Well, I mean, he's the owner. He can't.
I can't.
Yeah, he's the owner. He can't fire himself. But when you look at the situation here as well, right now we're looking around and we're trying to figure out who's the guy that can come in here and coach Zach. When you look at the quarterback position, quickly give me your thoughts. What quarterback do you think the New York Jets should target?
Neither, because this is a place where quarterbacks die. They're gonna end up screwed. I can't. I'd rather work. Listen, I'd rather work with what we have.
Okay.
Than have a veteran quarterback that could get screwed at the end. Okay. We tried it with Flacco, didn't work out. So I don't think I'm taking that route.
Okay. So you want to go forward with Zach Wilson and possibly bring back Mike White?
Yes, have a quarterback competition between those two.
Okay, all right. So listen, before I let you go, Quinnen Williams, do you think the Jets will be able to get him re-signed before April?
That remains to be determined. I can't predict the future, but it all depends what happens this upcoming offseason.
Okay.
So.
All right. No, listen, I respect that, Chris. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, my friend.
You too, You too, buddy. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, we're going to get into these lines. 515-602-9639. Quickly, give me your takes. Max, we're coming to you next. Salutes to you, Max. I want to thank you for calling in. Max, Mike LaFleur is gone. Give me your thoughts quickly. How are you feeling about Mike LaFleur getting away from the Jets?
Let's go. That finally happened. He was the worst offensive coordinator in the league. He couldn't even use Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. I understand Zach Wilson was not a great quarterback, but if you can't use Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, or our offensive weapons who are very good, you just can't be our offensive coordinator. Also, he was predictable. He always ran on first down. He was never I think 2021 he had trick plays. What happened? Like he used to be this like creative guy, but like he was not really good. He became too predictable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely speaking the truth. Now, you're looking at Quinnen Williams. Do you think the Jets will be able to get him signed before April?
Yeah, I think so, because maybe we clear some cap space and we get rid of the free agents that are not like performing on the team, like Laken Tomlinson. We get rid of, or we can get rid of like some like Mike White or something like that. Like get rid of players that are not like really performing, and then save the money for Quinnen's big extension, because he's really good on the Jets. He has like 12 sacks.
Yep.
He's second in the league behind Aaron Donald.
Yep. No, yeah, you're speaking absolute facts. So my final question before I let you go, Jets looking for a QB, man. What do you think they should do? Are you want Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson? Do you think we get Carr, Garoppolo, or do you want to stick with Zach Wilson?
I think we should do is if Lamar goes in free agency, we 100% should get Lamar, but I highly doubt he leaves the Ravens. The Ravens are too loyal, and I think Garoppolo is the best fit. I'm not saying Derek Carr is not bad. I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. Just Garoppolo has played in this system. He's played in the Kyle Shanahan offense, and he's a game manager. I mean, Carr, yeah, he had one good weapon. I understand, but you know, we're a playoff defense.
Yeah.
We just need a game manager to manage the game.
Yeah.
And before I go, I feel like our offensive coordinator that I want, I don't know if it's unlikely. If Shane Steichen isn't going to have a coaching job, we have to poach him from the Eagles.
Okay.
I think he's a great OC.
Okay.
Because he can, and I think he's a younger offensive coordinator, but he can use his weapons. His system, and it's like, oh, we have to learn a new system. His system is based off his player strengths. He can use Elijah Moore. He can use Garrett Wilson. He can use Breece Hall. I think he'll be a great offensive coordinator.
Okay. Listen, Max, you absolutely brought some heat, man. I really like what you had and your takes there. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Next, I'm going to my guy, Phenom. Phenom, I'm coming directly to you. Phenom as well. Savage. Straight savage. Listen, Phenom, quickly, man. Give me your thoughts. Salutes. Happy New Year's to you really quickly, all right? We're going to give you a minute. Give me your thoughts about Mike Lafleur moving on from the Jets. Are you surprised that he is no longer the New York Jets offensive coordinator?
Not surprised, but maybe there's some little scapegoatish stuff going on. You know, somebody had to take the fall. So maybe he was just where it fell. You know, he's a young OC. He made some mistakes, but I also think he wasn't working with the greatest material. The material was hurt. If we change a couple of things, if we have Becton, we have AVT, this picture looks different. I think Joe Douglas has to do some work. This rebuild is not done. If we rebuild, I agree with what a lot of the callers said tonight. June brought the heat with some things he said. We build the offensive line. We add to that piece of the puzzle with the Jets, and we get those guys back that we lost. This offensive line could be awesome.
Yeah.
And then our pieces on offense look totally different.
Yeah.
And then the 1-2 punch of a Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and a Bam Knight. You're talking, and then what else they do in the draft? Linebacker, safety, whatever. But the offensive line is no doubt. It has to be addressed, no question.
Yeah.
So, as far as offensive coordinator, June brought up some names. He brought up Nagy. He's a former Chicago offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him. The last caller brought up the Philly offensive coordinator. I'm not too familiar with him, but Philly has played great. They've had great scheme.
90 seconds.
You have to put the ball in the playmaker's hands.
Yeah. No. Listen, June, and listen. Hold on a second, for you. Listen, and you're bringing the facts, but I have to go. I have to let you go. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, because you were bringing some great takes, but we got to move on quickly. So again, thank you for calling in, Phenom. Listen, we're gonna close out the show now. Show's hot. We got to everybody and slid everybody in. Listen, I'm gonna close it out. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back, all right? I'm also on YouTube as well. I'm also on Twitter as well. Going over to Twitter, at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. All right, follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times, guys. All right. I'm also on YouTube as well. Going over to YouTube, Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets. All right. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. So when I post content, you folks will be in the know. You want to troll me? Let's go back and forth in the comments. And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Okay. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to call in and listen to the show. You folks are the absolute best. Peace out, folks.
10 seconds.
1 second, folks. Woo! Okay, I'm back. As y'all see, that was a hot show. We got to almost everybody. I think Val. I think Val had just called in. Listen, for those of you that are new, okay, we do these shows year round, all right? Exclamation point links in the show, all right? Brings up my link tree, okay? My link tree has the links to all of my content, okay? I have other YouTube pages, content, believe me, is coming for those, okay? We do these shows year round. The next show I'm going to do, I believe, is going to be Tuesday, next week on Tuesday, okay? What date is that? It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Tuesday, okay? So that's going to be the 17th, okay? On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. So, again, we do these shows year round. We have a lot of fun, all right? Keep in mind, when you call in, please make sure. Okay, Val salutes. Val says he just called. Believe me, we'll get to you in the next show, Val. All right, when you call in, okay, please make sure that your phone line is good to go. All right, we take calls. We listen to everybody. We have a lot of fun here. Again, these shows are year-round. We talk about the team. We call in, make sure your phone's good. If you call me on a Sesame Street phone and I can't hear you, there's nothing I can do. Also, please make sure there's no crazy echoes in your background, okay? If you have a bunch of crazy echoes in your background, or crazy noise or echoing or anything, I'm not going to be able to hear you, all right? If it's too much of that, I'm just going to move on, okay? I can't have that. If I can't have you and my audience can't hear you either, then there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I want to be able to hear your takes. It doesn't matter what your takes are. All right. The only thing I do not allow on my show as well is cursing. Do not call into my show cursing. I'll get you out of here. All right. This is a family show. Don't call into my show cursing or you're gone. All right. You curse a bunch, I'll get you up out of here. This is a family show. We have all kinds of people that listen to the platform and want to hear what you have to say. And let's go back and forth on takes. All right. Keep in mind, this is a show that's all about debate. All right. I don't always agree with everyone's takes the same way that people don't agree with my takes. As y'all heard tonight, there were some callers where we debate, we go back and forth. Understand that I want to be able to hear you out, but do not be trying to yell over me when you call in, because that's not going to happen. I'm just going to put it that way. Let's have a respectful discussion, go back and forth. Believe me, I'll give you more than enough time, except when we get, until the later part of the show where it gets short on time and everybody's booking in. And we have a lot of fun and we have respectful debate here. So I want to be able to hear me. I have no issues with you being passionate. I don't even care, if you want to call in and bash the Jets. We've had people do that. You want to bash them? I'll listen. Don't get too crazy with it, but I'll listen to you, and we'll go back and forth and have discussions that way. All right. Now, this is the part of the show that Val does not like. If you look at this number here, all right, that phone number is the phone number to the show for foreseeable future. It's not going to change unless I say it will. And I have not said anything. It's going to be the show. All right. The show is going to be live Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you call into the show about 5 minutes to 10 minutes before the show starts, you'll get on the show a bit earlier. As y'all heard tonight, right? Even though I'm moving and shaking through callers, y'all heard how many callers we got, right? Okay. I love talking to people. I enjoy this. That's why I do this show. If you want to get on the show earlier, call in 5 to 10 minutes before the show starts. You'll be on the line. I come out. I usually give my little spiel. Again, we had a lot to cover tonight, but generally it's about 10 minutes. I'll talk about what I got to discuss. As y'all see Val trying to get me to be quiet. Y'all see that. It's because that's what Val does. Okay. So you call, you wait on the lines. You call the show about 5 to 10 minutes before the show starts. The lines are open. You wait on the lines. You'll hear me start the show. You'll hear me talk about what we're going to discuss, and then boom, we get into the Jets. All right. Then I go straight to the lines. As y'all saw tonight, it was about 20 minutes that I went, but we had to cover quite a bit of things that have gone on since, everything's been shaking and moving with the Jets. But generally about 10 minutes, and then we get right into it and we discuss this football team and we talk about whatever it is, the topic of discussion. All right. So that's what we do here. And the number's there. Okay. Val wants you to not do that because that's what Val does. And a bunch of veteran guys do that. But do it. All right. You call in early. You'll get on the show a bit earlier. But again, please be patient, everybody. I get to everybody. All right. Also, if you call in and hang up, that's not going to work very well. You want to know why? Because I have a queue system, so I can see you. When you call in, I can see you. All right. Believe me, I'm going to get to you because I want to hear your takes. But you have to be patient. In my quest, going down the callers and going down the line, if I do not know your name, if I don't know you by name, I'm going to call out your area code. I've had this issue with other people in the past, and I had to explain to them, you have to know the area code that you're calling in from, okay? If you don't know your area code, please take the time to learn it. And then when I call it out, you'll know that I'm talking to you, and then I want to be able to hear from you, So that's what we have there. Also, I don't show any favoritism on this show, okay? I've had this discussion with people too. I don't care if you've been a Jets fan for 30 seconds or 30 years. If you love this team, heck, we even have people that call in that aren't even Jets fans, but they want to discuss stuff about this team. Then I will go down my queue system, okay? That's how it works here, okay? I understand some people feel like, hey, I've been a fan longer than this guy. I need to be on right now. That's not how it works here. I work through because I respect everybody's time and I want to get to everybody and talk about everything, okay? And again, I can't give everybody 30 minutes. As y'all saw tonight, I give you generally around eight minutes, and then we got to move on, but I want to hear your take, okay? And again, no cursing, all right, for my new callers. So we have a lot of fun on here. Again, these shows are year-round. Also game on this channel as well from time to time. I know people are like, Joe, we want to see you play more video games. We'll get back to that soon when my schedule allows it. My schedule's been wild. Y'all know that. All right. But when my schedule allows, if you see me pop up and I'm playing Street Fighter or Madden or NBA 2K or we play like Outlast, Resident Evil, we play all those games. Don't be surprised. Come on in, join your boy, and talk to us. We going back and forth. We talk about life. We talk about all kinds of things. So that's the kind of content that you'll get on here from time to time when it allows, okay? So we have a lot of fun doing that stuff. Again, subscribe if you have not subscribed and hit that notification bell, all right? So when all that stuff is going on, when we're having these shows and we have a lot of fun, hey, you'll be able to check it out and come on in and join your boy. Also, again, just in case I didn't say this, ! Links. That's my link tree. Follow me across my social media platforms as well. I announce hours before I'm going to do a show that I'm doing it. And, that's how you'll be able to definitely know. And again, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern at this point is when we're going to be doing the next show. If I change it, believe me, I'll let y'all know. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, though, is the next. We also do live game reactions here. When the Jets are playing, we'll do live game reactions and we talk about the game. After the game, we have a live radio show. During the season, we did that, and we talked about the team and we talked about what we would see in the game. So we did that. So that's what we do after live games when my schedule allows. So we have a lot of fun doing that. We have a lot of same stuff, a lot of jokes and stuff. But that's what it's about over here. So, we do all that stuff and we have a lot of fun. Do y'all want live playoff reactions? Let me know. Do y'all want me to join y'all and watch the playoffs with y'all too? Jets ain't in. Is that something y'all want to do? If y'all want that, let me know right now in the chat. I'll see if I'll be able to do that. My schedule is a little wild, but we'll see if we'll do that too. So let me know if y'all want me to do that. I might do that. Might join y'all and sit down and watch a playoff game with y'all. Maybe, what I'm saying, if I can get that done, if my schedule will allow it. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that stuff. So we do all of that. I have other content, and we just have a lot of fun over here doing stuff. So please join us and, come on through. Be a savage. My chat, The Savages, we get after everybody. So we do all of that stuff, and we have a blast. We have a lot of fun. Again, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern will be the next show. So listen, folks, I got to get on out of here. All right. I got to go. Schedule's wild. Listen, be safe. Okay, people, be safe out here. The world is getting crazy. Okay. It's getting crazy. All right. I don't want to, the world's getting crazy. I don't know why it's getting crazy, but it is. All right. Sit down with your friends and your family. All right. Enjoy the good times you folks have together. Sit down, watch some good TV, eat some good food, and enjoy yourselves. All right. And I want to give a salute to everybody that joined me as well tonight. All the savages in the chat going back and forth. Listen, Val, salutes to you. Larry Coleman, salutes to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Larry Coleman says, let's do it. Okay, Val says, let's do it. All right. I'm going to try to see what I can do here. You know what I mean? Larry Coleman says, right, Joe, salutes, man. You are on the come up, one of the best underrated Jets channels on YouTube. Salutes, man. Salutes to you. Val trying to get me to shut up. I won't stop talking about that. 7 p.m. Eastern Tuesday, right now is what I have time for the next show. If you call in to this number right here at about 6:50 or 6:55 p.m. Eastern, you'll be on the show earlier. Don't let Val stop y'all from talking Jets. You know what I'm saying? Don't let him do that. GVH, salutes to you. You know what I'm saying? Again, salutes to you. Salutes to you, Val. Can't wait to hear from Val on the next one. He gonna, salutes to everybody, man, that just came on by. Jay Johnson, salutes to you. BK Trainer, always good to hear from you as well. Salutes to you too. Listen, salutes to everybody. Phenom, and it was good to hear from you tonight. Talking Jets with Tigo. Salutes to him, man. So Talking Jets says, but why go get another inexperienced play caller? Isn't the idea to get someone with experience? That's a great point, Tigo. That was a lot of people were talking about that when the Jets offensive line or offensive coordinator position opened up, that they want an experienced guy, and that's big. GVH says, salutes to him as well. Good to see him as well, Joe Capione, I apologize if I mispronounced that. Joe Capione, salutes to him as well. Good to see him in here. GM, always good to see you in here as well. GM says smash that like button. Salutes. How about them Jets? Good to see you in here as well. Salutes to you. Just salutes to everybody, man, that came on by and said what's up to your boy. Again, lines get hot. Callers, going back and forth with me. The Savages going back and forth in the chat, man. Salutes to Christopher as well. Good to see him in here too. Man, salutes to everybody that just came on by, said what's up with your boy. Matt, salutes to you. Johnny Bravo, salutes to you too. Salutes to everybody. Jacob Klein, always good to see you in here as well. Orlando C, always good to see you in here. June, man, everybody just came on by. J.E., everybody that stopped on by. WMD, 1812, good to see you in here too. Jets mess. Good to see you in here. Mr. Magics. Everybody that came on by and just said what's up with your boy. Salutes to you. Spent time in here, said what's up. And, chatted up with the Savages, man. Val says, let that go in one ear and out the other. You see what I'm saying? Val be hating on y'all. Val want his time. You know what I'm saying? Val want his time. But again, 515-602-9639 is the number. If you call in about 6:55, all right, and just wait on the line about 5 minutes until the show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, then you'll get on. Salutes. Rusty says, salutes to you as well, Rusty. Rusty says, I just tried calling, fam. Show's over, Rusty. We'll get to the next one, though. Call in on the next one. It'll be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right? Call in about 6:55 like Val don't want you to do, and you'll get on the line earlier, So we getting it in. Listen, I'm going to get on out of here again. Enjoy yourselves with your friends and your family. Sit down. Eat some good food. Make those moments, man. Enjoy those moments with the people that you love the most. Let the people that you love know that you love them most. It's extremely important to me. I hope it's extremely important to you. I'll see y'all again. Follow me across my my social media platforms. And also subscribe to all my other YouTube pages, man. And I'll see y'all 7 p.m. Tuesday. 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. All right? Jay Johnson says we need that mock draft show soon, June. We'll be looking to put that together. I know people want me to do that mock draft show. I'm gonna see how that shakes out. We're gonna get that rolling. And salutes to you, Rusty as well. Rusty says I missed you. Sorry, fam. Salutes to you. Salutes, man. Listen, I'll talk to y'all Tuesday. All right, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, call in 6:55. Don't let Val hate on y'all, all right? Val's a hater. I ain't going to lie, all right?